Pratt, and today I'm going to show Karen and Gavin how easy it is to fill this reservoir up with some water.
Wait, please! Help us!
Don't do this! I'm the clear choice for mayor in Los Angeles, and with me, I'll take out the basura immediately. With this system, we can fight fires from the sea. Let me show you how these things work, baby. How have Gavin Newsom's immigration policies affected your work? I worked hard to get my green card. Years, amigo. Things were good, but then these pincho criminals were let in by Sleepy Joe. Begin clearance. Deportations are finally making a difference. I'm excited to start getting more work again.
Very interesting. That's pretty awesome, right? That was a good commercial, isn't it? You think so? Great commercial. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Saturday night. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. More than a couple minutes, looks like. Wow. I had, I don't know, one thing come up right before I started the show, but I want to thank everybody who was here. Please remember, hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We're going to cover some news stories. We got the New York spiraling out of control. There's people are claiming it's in a death spiral with all these taxes. They're going to chase out all the money. We also have sanctions being put on Chinese satellite companies for helping Iran. We have more news stories covering. We kind of touched on it last night a little bit about that Georgia mayor who's fired the entire police department because the wife got her feelings hurt. But there's more stories about it. The city council is making some moves. And also there was a terrible accident today in Denver where someone got sucked into someone was walking, ran out on the runway and got sucked into a Frontiers airline engine. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Plus, we got a bunch of other news stories to talk about. You know, there was a lawsuit. Ray Epps had filed a lawsuit against Fox News, and it got thrown out of court. And it's surprising that the media is portraying Ray Epps as being a Trump supporter. That's kind of weird, considering all the stuff he said. You know, race hustler Ben Crump has shook down Google for $50 million. We had a drilling project in the Black Hills that got canceled. Why does it say? And also a massive explosion at an oil refinery in New Orleans. Supposedly, the gay Ayatollah is directing negotiations with the U.S. There's a Bahamian booze ban during election times in the Bahamas, and so that's causing a big problem with cruise ships because when they go to port there's no booze. No one can drink, so it's causing problems. Also, supposedly, China is claiming that they increased their exports year over year 14%, and the U.S. also struck another narco terror boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 2 and leaving 1 survivor. So that's what's going on there. I also let's see who's here today before we get started. Let's see. Kimby's here. What's up? How you doing? Great to see you, Mr. Sneaky Sean. Awesome to see you. America First. Glad to have you, Lady Bama. What's up? Delay is obvious. Good to see you. YouTube is dead tonight without Jim Tells You. Know it really is. Well, that's good. G Sharkman, good to see you. None of your business. Awesome seeing you. And we got our first donation of the evening from America First for $5. That means that we are now, I didn't even start the goal, but we are now $95 away from adding a first additional hour and 45 away from television. So I guess I got to talk about the goal. That's right. The way the show works, it goes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Unless we hit the goal, which the goal is $100 in total across all platforms, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, Super Tips, along with Locals Coins, and Kick and Twitch memberships, also becoming members on YouTube or Rumble, or gifting memberships on YouTube or Rumble. When we hit the $100 in total across all platforms, we activate an additional hour. Man, my brain is not working today. We add 1 additional hour, and then for each additional 100, we add an additional hour of the show. So the show could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4, whatever, however long you want it to be. It's only up to you guys. And then as an added bonus, what I like to do is when we hit $50, we activate Bellavision for the evening. And there's Bella right there, just chilling. You can see in her normal spot. And that's if we hit 50. But also, if when we hit $25, if any individual person makes a donation of $25 or greater, which that could be like a Cash App, a PayPal, a Super Tip, Super Chat, a Rumble Rant, it could also be like 5 gifted memberships that will automatically activate Bellavision for the evening. Yes. Let's see who else is here. Neat Scholar, good to see you. Thank you so much. Tom Forster says, without Jim to tell me, I would have to think for myself. I can't afford bail money. Well, I'm here to help. America First disease. YouTube is censoring comments for no apparent reason. He says, I tried to post this. Let's support Jim because it's the right thing to do without censored words. Wow. I don't know. Wow. That's crazy. They wouldn't let you post that. Screw this censorship BS. You ain't kidding. Hey, the Finch, what's up? Good evening. Great to see you again. Catherine K, awesome to see you. Steve Hilliard, are you following Joe's starting habits? No, I'm trying not to. I try to start as close to the start time as possible. Dusky Dawn says, let's go. Yes, we will. Renegade Reynolds, what's up? Good evening. Great to see you. Sylvia, awesome. Good evening, Jim and the viewers. Michelle, what's up? Awesome to see you. Snake Eater's back. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Yes, hello. Gavon. Oh, dog shit. Well, I try. I do my best. What's up, Lynn? Awesome to see you. Wheezy Bob, hello, friends. You saw this morning about the police department? Yeah. Jason, what's up? What do you think? What AI do you use to make your video pictures? I can't tell you. I just use Grok. Fed. I'm a Fed. You got me. What's up? What's up, Dan? How you doing? Great to see you. Ray is a glowy G Shark. Yes, he is. No booze when the ship lands. Ouch. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, so people are upset. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Sean is talking about Russell Greer, and I don't care. I like the Russell Greer stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. What's up, KPT? Awesome to have you here. JTA Remy, you too. Yeah, Bella. What kind of computer do I use? Do you recommend Apple? I have a, whatever you want to call a Microsoft computer. I don't know. I just never got into Apple computers. What's up, Jonathan? Good to have you here. Linda, great to see you. I would love to know who paid Raid Apps. And Phil says we paid him. Yes, the taxpayers paid. So, all right. So the goal's all set on YouTube. We're ready to roll. Let's get into. Let me fix Bellis. For some reason, her bed's all discombobulated again. I don't know. Let me jump right into the first news story of the evening. Oh, well, that's right. Bellavision's got to go away. Let me double check here because sometimes. Oh, all right. Hey, that's right, Lurchlinger. Please tell him, hit the like button. That's right. Good to go. So Mamdani's billionaire bashing can cost New York City $12 billion, data shows. I read somewhere else it was $44 billion. Hey, Lynn, thanks for being here. And triggering a death spiral as jobs disappear and residents flee. Zohar Mamdani, why is it doing this to me? Zohar Mamdani's hostile stance towards New York City's businesses could jeopardize $12 billion in GDP, triggering a death spiral in the city's finances. As the young communist blows off Ken Griffin's moving his jobs south. Escape from New York came true. He gave Mamdani 1 year, but he might even make it. Hey, Martin, thanks for having you here. I haven't heard anything about Iran responding yet. And now we need Snake Plissken. You ain't kidding. Dire data exclusively provided to the Post by the Partnership for New York City shows the coalition of 300 corporate and financial firms have created nearly 1 million jobs, as well as they contribute $13.5 billion in taxes and generate $370 billion to the city's GDP every year. That's like, hey, Great Eagle, thanks for saying. Did we give Iran the Hantavirus as a free gift? I don't understand. Like the Hantavirus was something that you never used to hear about, and then what? Gene Hackman and his wife died of it, and now it's on cruise ships. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm hoping that they are looking at this guy's immigration stuff, and that's also a story that's in the news. I didn't say it, but that the U.S. is denaturalizing a whole bunch of people. They're trying to just go down. They're after anybody who lied to get papers, and I believe Zohar Mamdani lied. Because you have to swear that you are not a member of the Communist Party. You don't support communists. You have to swear that to come into the U.S. So he lied. Yeah, Phil's right. If you had the money, I don't know why you'd stay in New York City. I have a friend that works for the Rangers, and even he's looking for a job outside the city. There's active patients on Hantavirus strains. No lie. No, I know, Martine. I know they're in Oklahoma. They're being treated in Oklahoma. They were flown from the the cruise ships into Oklahoma. They're being treated in Oklahoma. I know. It's not like, at this point, I don't know if it's really a big story. Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I don't know if it is. Windfall for the Big Apple, however, could be endangered if growth declines even a modest amount, according to the data. A growing prospect is if a feared exodus of billionaires fleeing the communist mayor gains steam. Medical patents on the strains. These remain more dangerous. Medical patents on the strains. Oh, I must have read there's active patents on. Oh, I did. I thought you were saying patients. I read patients. I didn't see that. Who's being treated in Oklahoma? There's 3 people that have the Hantavirus that are being treated in Oklahoma. That was the story. I mean, I didn't think it was that big a news. Just 3 people got sick from rat poo. Is it a big story? I don't know. The numbers don't lie, said Steve Fulop of the Business Group's president and CEO. New York's private sector has invested billions and created hundreds of thousands of jobs. You can only treat job creators like the enemy for so long before they stop creating jobs here. Well, that makes sense. The far left can run on socialism all day, but cities run on tax revenue, and tax revenue requires businesses that actually want to be here. Is Carg Island still on the table? Yes, it is. Ultra Silver, he says, this guy says Ultra Silver kills off all viruses. Well, that's interesting. Now they can spread it anywhere and claim mouse poo did it. I guess they could, couldn't they? Wow. They could definitely do that. The only thing about I know about the Hantavirus is you can get it from crusty brand bubble goo gum like substance. Okay. I saw patient 0 when bird watching at the garbage dump. Hey, Muffin Rando. What's up? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Long simmering fears of that the tax the rich advocating Mamdani would scare off or tick off businesses and well-to-do boiled over this week when Griffin said he's adding jobs in Miami for his Citadel hedge fund instead of New York City. New York City? I thought they were taking them to that quarantine hospital at Offutt Air Force Base. I saw Oklahoma. Is Offutt's not in Oklahoma? Is Offutt the one in North Dakota? No. Hold on. Haunted having on a Dutch cruise with traveling outbreak resulted in illnesses. Where were they transported to, though? Oh, this is saying they're being treated in Texas, Virginia, Georgia, Arizona, and California. All right, what the hell? I'm gonna have to find that news story that I glazed over. Oh, here it is. Oh, Nebraska. It says Nebraska. I'm sorry, not Nebraska. They're in unit in Nebraska for monitoring. It says here. All right, fine. Just to get this cleared out of the way. It was Nebraska, not Oklahoma. Sorry. They're giving people Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska. My bad. It's Nebraska. I don't know why I don't know why I thought Oklahoma. I don't know. Isn't Oklahoma and Nebraska like right next to each other? Maybe that's why. I don't know. My brain is not working. Saturday, State Department announced to repatriate 17 Americans with from the cruise ship. They're taking them to Nebraska Medical Center. We're asked to receive and monitor citizens at the National Quarantine Unit, which features 20 negative pressure rooms. So, yeah, you're right. Hey, what's up, Casper? Great to see you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Offutt Air Force Base is south of Omaha. Okay. Been better, I'll live or I won't. Jokes. My Saturday didn't go as planned. How is King? Gene Hackman's wife died of Hansa. So did Gene Hackman. They both did. I think they both did. So it just says U.S. is moving to evacuate American passengers aboard the Hantavirus cruise ship quarantine in Nebraska. Should have never decommissioned Plum Island. The government's moving to evacuate. Oh, you're kidding American passengers from a cruise ship linked to a deadly Hantavirus outbreak, whatever. Gene Hackman had rats inside his house. Not surprised. A big mess and dirty. That's what they said. He was like a hoarder. Plans to transport him to a military base in Nebraska for quarantine. The CDC said that risk to American public remains extremely low. President Trump said on Friday, with the situation appears to be under control, pointing to the virus being difficult to transmit. Said, we have very good people looking at it. It seems to be okay. They know this virus very well. They've worked with it for a long time. They know it very well. Not easy to pass on. So I hope that's true. Why do people keep getting on cruise ships? I have no idea. How is the planet Earth population here? They're alive. They're good, I think. I don't know. What is Earth's total population? I think it's like 8 billion or something. I think it's like 6 billion, 8 billion. We seem to have things under control. They know this virus very well. Not easily transferable, unlike COVID, but we'll see. We have very good people studying it very closely. Health workers evacuate patients from the cruise ship at Port Cape Verde. 7.5 billion-ish each. Yeah. We're over 9 billion at the moment, according to the UN. But I think they've discovered that China was lying about how many people they had. I think. Maybe China was lying, so they're pretty sure China is short on quite a few. The outbreak escalated over several weeks, beginning with the passenger became sick in early April and later resulting in 3 deaths, according to the World Health Organization. Cases are now reported across multiple countries after passengers disembarked in Africa and Europe, prompting health officials to trace contacts globally. Authorities in Cape Verde at one point blocked passengers from leaving the ship, underscoring concerns about containment. Hantavirus is rare but potentially deadly, typically spread through contact with infected rodents or their droppings. While most strains do not spread between people, health officials say the Andes virus, identified in some cases linked to the ship, is the only known strain capable of limited person-to-person transmission. Oh, well, that's just great, isn't it? That's just great. Here we go again. Scamdemic, plandemic to fuck with the election. The vessel is expected to dock in Spain's Canary Islands, where international teams are coordinating next steps for passengers and crew. A CDC team has been deployed to the Canary Islands to assess potential exposure among American passengers to determine monitoring needs. Returning passengers are expected to be flown on a U.S. government medical repatriation flight to Offutt Air Force Base in Omaha, Nebraska. They will then be transported to the National Quarantine Center at the University of Nebraska Medical Center for further monitoring. Yeah, gain of function. That's what I'm smelling. Additional CDC personnel will be stationed at Offutt to support health assessments. So that's it. Have NDA fix this here, there. I don't know what that means. But hey, it's the new and improved 40% mortality flavored with half the calories. Well, that makes me a wonder. All right, let's get back into this about New York. We'll have to keep watching this Hantavirus thing. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're gonna try to push to make the, right before the election. Are we seeing a repeat of 2020? Is it possible? Is it possible that we're going to see it again? I mean, we're going to start seeing more and more protests in the streets and stuff, more violence. Are they going to say, they're going to be out there agitating because of the redistricting to say somehow it's all racist against certain people, and that's why they need to get out there, and Black Lives Matter is going to get out in the streets? I don't know. I mean, Ben Crump did just get $50 million from Google for some reason. So, you think this is a monkeypox situation? All right, good. Round do. Yeah. Do I have a sound card for my microphone? I know I have a Rodecaster sound board that I use. It's a XLR mic. It's not a USB mic. Actually, I think this mic has both USB. Yeah, this mic has both USB and XLR. I kind of wasted money on that. It was more expensive than just the XLR. I probably should have just got the XLR. Yes, that's right. Racist gerrymandering is unconstitutional. Yeah, it is. It is. They don't care. Hey, what's up, Grizzle? How you doing tonight? Doesn't make you wonder who wrote the Book of Love. Who wrote the Book of Love? It's being blown out of proportion. It's only 40% if you're displaying pulmonary symptoms. It's probably less than 2%. I wouldn't be surprised. We won't get fooled again. It's a good song from we won't get fooled again. TDS is real virus actor. Diamond G, what's up? Good to see you. The Sunshine State switcheroo was a direct consequence of Mamdani, the commie, using Griffin's glamorous $238 million penthouse as a prop in a social media video, drumming up support for his proposed tax on luxury second homes in the city. Griffin's reprisal was joined by fellow financial titan Mark Rowan, taking further steps to open a new hub for his Apollo Global Management in either Florida or Texas, two growing hotspots for expatriates from New York businesses. 6 weeks before symptoms. That's a long time to wait. Pinball wizard. Have to be a chin. The deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. Hey, what's up, sweet daydreams? How you doing? I saw a guy with a mask in a car. I was like, here we go again. I hope not. Trump be tackled and taken to the basement. Not by anybody who's going to survive. It never stopped here. People driving up masks alone in their cars. It never ended for them. Oh my God, that's terrible. All the Dems are going to cheat some way, somehow. Yeah, they're going to try. They're going to try. Titans moving thousands of jobs from city after the commie Mamdani vilifies Wall Street. We are so out of here. Both Citadel and Apollos are pillars within New York's financial industry, a sector that accounts for nearly 1 in 10 private jobs in the city. The financial services sector outpaced every other industry in job growth in 2025, expanding 3%. Assuming the same amount of growth, financial companies within the partnership alone would bring in a projected 10,000 jobs and $8.4 billion in tax contributions and $247 billion in GDP every year through 2030. Yes, rest in peace, New York. But even a small downtick of 10% will lead to roughly 3,000 fewer jobs, a $160 million dip in taxes, and a $4.8 billion GDP hit. A dramatic exodus, like in Citadel's famous recent exit of Chicago that cost the Windy City more than $3.5 billion, of 30% would translate to 6,300 fewer jobs, 397 million lost taxes, and 11 billion hit to GDP. Potential hits come as New York City is in a precarious time for its ever-ballooning budget, which has far outpaced inflation over recent years. Don't laugh at Wall Street will be moving to Florida. They could literally shut down, like they could literally shut down on a Friday and reopen on a Monday in Florida. Everything is there already. They have everything backup, all the backup servers, everything is all there ready to go. They could go, they can move just like that. Part of the reason for the moves was because of stuff that happened in Chicago and the noises coming out of New York. Mamdani has proposed a mammoth $127 billion budget for next year and has pushed for a tax on millionaires to help close the $5.4 billion shortfall. The city has a massive spending problem, leaving it particularly susceptible to economic slowdowns because revenue doesn't keep pace. That's what a former guy in the Bloomberg mayoral. Is U.S. gas prices coming down, and when? Well, I've looked at the numbers, all right, and it looks to me like we should be around 3.25 by the 4th of July for gas. That's what all the outlooks look like. By the 4th of July, we should be at about $3.25 a gallon, maybe even less. But because right now, futures for July futures for oil, which means they take delivery in July, are trading around $70, $69. So there's no reason. If you can buy gas in July for that price, why? Either they know something or, you're at $2.95 a gallon just north of Houston. Wow, well, that's cheap. I mean, not cheap. That's good. I mean, I'm talking national, like the national average. It's gone up about 50 cents. Yeah. It's weird. The prices, there's like a lag going up, coming down. It's weird. So if you're just raising taxes to fill a gap and doing nothing to close the gap, you're just going to raise taxes. The tax hikes in return will prompt Griffin's billionaire buds and other businesses to follow suit and cut their losses. It's a real death spiral. Business leaders are just going to relocate their workforce to Florida. It's not a loss of a billionaire and their tax bill. It's the workers in the tens of millions of dollars. But we're the ones who have the majority of oil in the U.S. We're pumping it everywhere else. Yeah. Yeah, no, they got a lot of it. Yeah, they got a lot of it in Texas. The national average includes outrageous gas taxes like in Florida, California. Yeah, it does. That's the national average. That's what they figure it all in. Companies increasingly have a choice rather than be tied to one particular city, said Jared Walzak, senior fellow at the Tax Foundation. It used to be that if you were in finance, you had to be in New York City. That's not the case anymore. If they feel unwelcome and they're going to be and it's going to be an ongoing topic, they can easily push them elsewhere. They do not want to fight new proposals every year to be the solution to every revenue problem that can drive them elsewhere. Big business fears of an antagonistic left-wing communist mayor, however, have been proven wrong in the past. Well, I don't think so. Groundhog killing galoot, Bill de Blasio's Tale of Two Cities highlighting the gulf between the haves and the have-nots during the 2013 mayoral campaign swept him into office and filled bigwigs with dread. The bigs were pleasantly surprised that de Blasio, as mayor, took business-friendly steps to foster economic development. That's because he was just a fraud. He wasn't a real communist, like Mamdani. Mamdani's different because the bashing the rich helped sweep him to office. And unabashedly lefty message said, even Ross Smith, a strategist with slingshot strategies. What was the gas price at this time in 2023? It was higher. Gas prices were higher in 2022, 2023. Yeah, they were much higher. Bella, 2028. Thank you, G Sharkman. With that $5, that means we are now just 90 away from adding a first additional hour and 40 away from Bellavision. Wow, thank you guys so much. So very helpful. Why are we funding data center power costs? We shouldn't be. I think the data centers should be forced to build their own power plants, and provide any excess power should go to the people around them. There's plenty of gas at the petroleum industry gouging us with their methods of price fixing. Yeah, I don't doubt that's happening too. I'm sure there's some of it. It's not, I don't think it's I think it's more of the speculation. People speculate, driving up costs. The mayor's actually largely held his tongue on bashing the rich during the budget process, which the notable exception of picking a fight with Griffin. Well, that's not really keeping his mouth shut, is it? He should have picked someone else who has a penthouse that doesn't employ thousands of people. I think the target was ill-advised. I think when it's Zoran versus a rich guy who employs tens of thousands of people during a budget fight, it's a problem. And I think it goes to a draw. In 2023, 554 was the high water now because the refineries left. Yeah. They never miss a chance to gouge prices. I don't disagree. The demon rat socialist likely will return to his more vocal rich bashing after the budget process. Stuff like this is a winner for him, and he'll go back to it. What's this? Jacoby Wayne says, officially contracted 3 Mile Island nuclear plant sent to restart amid booming AI demand. Yeah, 3 Mile Island is going to 3 Mile Island is going to restart, and it's going to be specifically for either Microsoft, I think, or Amazon. One of the maybe Microsoft or Amazon, I think. Man, Dummy's going to crash eventually. Yes, he is. I think the voters exist and they hate rich people. Well, whatever happened to wanting to be a rich person? Why would you hate the rich? Why wouldn't you want to strive to be rich? Responding to the partnership analysis, a spokeswoman for Mamdani's uneasy ally, Kathy Hochul, said the government is proud to support large and small businesses. It's Microsoft. That's what I thought. Yeah, Microsoft. From local businesses to global corporations, every employer plays a crucial role in making New York City the best place for business. They're fucking nuts if they think it's the best place for business. Governor Hochul is proud to support them all. American First says, we have plenty of gas here, but we do not have plenty of gas in order to supply the rest of the world, with shortages being caused by the Strait of Hormuz being shut down. Yeah. Well, I think the reason, American First, the reason I'm seeing the futures prices priced down below, around 70, 68, 69 a barrel is because Saudi Arabia and the UAE is, from what I've read, is getting ready within the next week or two to bring online more supply going into the Red Sea as opposed to the Strait of Hormuz. So it'll be able to go out without going, just go south through the Red Sea or go north through the Suez Canal. So maybe that's why. I don't know. that the prices are going to start because it's straight out. If the UAE and Saudi Arabia both put their oil out through the Red Sea, that's like almost half of the oil that goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's going to really change a lot of stuff. The governor has held the line on income and corporate taxes while delivering unprecedented job growth, including doubling the national rate of private sector job creation in New York City. Yeah, but see, the governor's not responsible for those jobs. People like Ken Griffin's responsible for those jobs. New York business continued to succeed is what they're going to claim. All right, let's see here. And maybe there's a short video here to watch. New York City business owners kickstart $1 million campaign to combat Mamdani-driven business exodus.
I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million.
That was New York City Mayor Zoran
Hey,
Mamdani
Ginger.
earlier this month promoting his so-called pied-à-terre tax on second homes with a personal attack on businessman Ken Griffin. The Citadel CEO responded to Mamdani this week.
I think the willingness of the mayor of New York to make this a policy debate, a personal attack, just demonstrated a profound lack of judgment. Here's the real question. Is New York going to put their fiscal house in order and run itself from a position of a strong government that's pro-business? Why do the Americans think we can do socialism? Like, we have none of that in our DNA, and we're just going to screw it up.
We are back with Kim Strassel, Alicia Finley, and Mary Anastasia O'Grady. So, Kim, explain something to me. Why would Mamdani make a personal attack like this on what is, as Griffin said, a policy debate about taxes? Why make it personal?
You explain, Paul. I mean, it's a dumb move. I mean, look, he's doing it.
Hold on a second. Dan says KSA and UAE are looking at 7 million barrels from the Red Sea ports, about half of what they care. Yeah, but that's right now what they're doing. I was told that there's something else. There's another pipeline that's going to be coming online, and more capacity. Something's happening. They're going to be able to increase that capacity. But they're going to be able to get up to almost 80 or 90% of what they normally put out of the Strait of Hormuz. So I don't know. But there's more stuff coming online, more capability, something more ability to move more. You hope not what? Everyone must understand that economics around the world are tied together. I mean, if they can get more stuff through the Red Sea, that would decrease the. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. It would decrease the urgency on solving the Strait of Hormuz problem, but I think they should just solve it. I mean, solve it, get it done.
Class warfare, right? And he actually wants a villain that he can point to and name out by name. So you stand there and point at the penthouse. But you're essentially making insults of everybody who invests and works and contributes to this city. And Citadel did a great job this week reminding just how much they and their people contribute to New York all the time. These are the people overall he's offending. And it's not clear it necessarily works politically either.
Well, it may not work economically either, Mary, because Griffin and Citadel have suggested that if this is going to go through, they may not make a big investment, $1 billion investment in New York City.
Yeah, Mamdani acts like there aren't any choices in the world, that this is the only place, and they're coming here, and he's just going to suck the blood out. And
well, maybe Mamdani thinks he can, he's a communist. Maybe he thinks he could build a wall around New York and make it like East Germany and not let anybody out. I mean, anybody thought about that? Maybe that's what he thinks. Maybe he thinks he's going to come up with this exit tax thing like California tried. Maybe that's what they're going to try. Like, oh, if you try to leave, we're just going to take your fucking money anyway. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Like, oh, you can't leave. No, like they think they're the mob, like in Bronx Tale. When Chaz Palminteri goes into the bar, tells the guys to leave, and they say no, and they go, oh, okay, and he locks the door, and he goes, now you just can't leave. Maybe that's what he thinks he's going to do. Hey, Glenn Croy, great to see you here tonight. Delay is obvious. Awesome seeing you, too.
It's amazing because, you see Miami booming and other jurisdictions competing for investments and so forth. And here's this ankle biter trying to, as Kim says, launch a big class warfare. He's speaking to the people who elected him when he does that video, that they think that all he has to do is take from the rich and put it in the hands of government and everybody will be better off. And as Ken Griffin points out, I mean, that has never worked.
But there is a political.
That's what might end up happening if they're going to do this. You don't think that all those people that operate on the New York Stock Exchange, they already have all the stuff is in Brickell, I believe. All the servers, it's all redundant. It's a double system, so they could just easily just move it there, just and be done. It was already done. It was moved. It was moved because of terrorism. But they'll move it out. That's what they'll do. I mean, Mamdani gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't believe all those stupid liberal white women who voted for him. Wait, yes, I can. She just called him an ankle biter. Yeah, he is. He's a biter. Definitely. You haven't seen him? He's pulling the AOC. We don't need your capitalists here in New York. What adult? Yeah. Did you see the stupid thing AOC's try to say that the Revolutionary War was the war against the billionaires? America's always been fighting the billionaires. What the fuck are you talking about, lady? George Washington was one of the richest people in the country. He had huge wealth and stuff, a big distillery and, tobacco farms and everything. And also, if I'm not mistaken, the richest man in America basically bankrupted himself paying, I can't remember his name, but I remember reading about it, bankrupted himself paying for the Revolutionary War. Was fought by the people with money because they were tired of getting their money stolen by fucking government. It was the whole revolution was over people not wanting their money stolen by people from the government, like tyrants. And she's like, these people are fucking backwards. Yeah, he had everything to lose watching. Yeah, all those guys did. Madison, Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin. I don't know much better what he really had, but I mean, there's tons of people. They had huge property, huge wealth. You haven't seen much of AOC lately, but I think she has odds at Senate seat. I don't pull it. She's going to try to take out Chuck Schumer. She's going to try to take out Schumer. Yeah, Mamdani, you get what you vote for. Well, unless they steal it. If we don't learn our history, we're bound to repeat it. You're bound to repeat it. Yes, we are. Yes, they are morons. Yeah, he had huge tracts of land. That's what I'm saying. There's people who are big money people. That's why, because they were tired of getting fucking robbed. First, rename it to the U.S. Stock Exchange. Yes, as it should be, right? Not the New York. It should be U.S. But there's also a stock exchange in Chicago, and I think there's one in San Francisco. There's stock exchanges in a lot of cities. New York is just the biggest one.
Kind of calculation here, Alicia. I look at the Saul Alinsky left-wing personalized attacks. If you personalize something, if you demonize them, and put them in an individual, it can help you make a case politically. That's why Bernie Sanders tries to demonize Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk.
I think that's right, and I think that's intent, but I don't think he expected this blowback in the fact that Citadel is investing about $60 billion in the city. Now, the other problem is the facts, and the city controller actually released a report this week saying that, well, it's not going to probably raise $500 million, more like $340 million, because even when you consider the behavioral effects, by the way, Vancouver tried something like this, and about 60% of the revenue just went out the window because people found ways around it or actually sold off their properties and invested somewhere else. So it won't even raise nearly as much revenue as they're expecting. That's probably what Ken Griffin was trying
Bernie's
to explain
a communist.
to Kathy Hochul
Just
when he went and visited.
Mamdani's a communist.
Well, Kim,
communist.
There's a wave of this anti-rich rhetoric and legislation moving. I mean, the California referendum to impose a wealth tax on billionaires may make the ballot. Could that possibly pass in California?
Well, here's the interesting news there, Paul, is that the billionaires are fighting back there, too. Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, says that he now has enough, or his groups have enough signatures to get two rival measures on the ballot in California, one of which would bar the attacks on personal property, including financial assets, and another one that would has a provision in it that would essentially be in conflict with this wealth tax. So there's a complex thing about which one gets more votes in the end, assuming that all three qualify, is the one that goes into effect. But you're not seeing them lay down there either. And this has been an interesting thing to watch, is suddenly those like Ken Griffin and others saying, we need to make the case for why the free market and what we do is actually worthwhile.
Yeah, Mary, are you optimistic that maybe there is beginning to be something of a pushback against the smiling socialists, the Mamdani and others?
They're communists. They're not socialists.
Going around. I mean, we had a city council seat that was a special election this week, and the person who won was not the person that Mamdani had endorsed. He worked very hard for her, but she lost. I think the other thing is that New Yorkers understand that philanthropy from the rich has done amazing things for New Yorkers, particularly in healthcare. But, Dick Gilder with Central Park, Ken Langone and all the medical facilities that he's contributed to. So we need rich people in New York City.
Yeah, you do. You need them everywhere. I mean, if you think about it, all the stuff, all the museums, all the stuff, basically was all rich people did it. Like huge libraries, like a lot of it, it's just rich people. When everyone is rich, a loaf of bread costs 10 grand. Yeah. Yeah, but what does it mean to be rich? Just because you got millions of dollars, if you can't buy a fucking loaf of bread for 10 grand, it doesn't matter. The Supreme Court would take up the tax case. We would find out that it's all constitutional. I agree. It should be. It should be. What's up, Christine? Great to see you. Got him Zig. I did a quick dig. The pipeline is actually a dual line that can be configured as natural gas, oil, or combo. Recent switch to all oil after repair from a drone attack. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought there was something going on where they said they were going to be able to get a lot more out of it. Because they don't really have to. The U.S. can move out, I think, a lot more natural gas than they can. Maybe we can do LNG a lot better now or something. I don't know. Yeah, we could if the corrupt politician would quit robbing us. Yes. I don't let many leftists know what a billionaire does all day, let alone how they do it. They think these guys just sit at home twirling their mustache and going, making all this money. Most of these guys are constantly doing something. They're never nonstop doing stuff. Did you know that everyone in Venezuela is rich? Yes, they got millions and millions of dollars. Talk about resurrecting an older line, but there's talk of resurrecting an older line, but no move to do it. And it also runs to Lebanon, which was decommissioned in the 90s. I don't know. Will we take control of the Strait of Hormuz? We do. We have control of the Strait of Hormuz right now. Iran doesn't. We went through the Strait of Hormuz. They tried to stop us, and we blew the shit out of them. I mean, the bottom line is that all it takes is the will. If you have the will to control it, if Trump has the will to control it, the U.S. will control it. That's the bottom line. What's Iran going to do? They're going to just keep eating fucking 500-pound bombs and 1,000-pound bombs for the next, every 5 minutes for the next 30 days? That's what will happen. Those would be B-52s flying at 50,000 feet, dropping fucking bombs on them, like nonstop, just raining bombs on Iran. There'll be so many bombs and planes that'll blot out the sky, blot out the sun. The problem is that New York's elections are so compromised that nobody can prove that they won their seat fair and square. When you have more votes than registered voters, you can't have democracy. I agree. So we'll see. We're going to keep an eye on this. He says, what the mayor of New York has made clear to me, my partners, and principally my New York partners, is that we need to double down on our bet in Miami because we want to be in a state that embraces business. Iran is cooked. That's what I say. They got, but they row boats. Well, oh well. We're taxing the rich. Mayor Mamdani touts a new $500 million a year tax on luxury second homes. So what happens when these people just start dumping the homes and the fucking housing market in New York goes? I've been working New York's election for 25 years. Nobody's really elected, just elected. Will we have to forcibly remove the uranium from Iran, or is that hold up to agreement? Well, it's coming out one way or the other. I know it's been reported that Iran was trying to say, well, can't we just let the Russians take it? But I don't think the U.S. really trusts the Russians to take it, unless maybe that's Trump talked to Putin. Who knows? Maybe this whole thing, I mean, there's a ceasefire right now that Trump brokered between Putin and Zelensky. So maybe this is going to be part of a big deal. Like Trump will talk to Putin and say, "Hey, stop the war, and we'll improve relations with Russia and partner up with Russia to control oil around the world." If the U.S., Russia, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, and the UAE created a compact for oil, they would control 80% of the oil market, 85% of the oil market. Yeah. New York is heading the Detroit route. I honestly don't understand how ignorant the people are who legitimately believe millionaire billionaires don't pay their fair share. Are they seriously gullible? Yes, they're gullible. They're gullible. Very gullible. Leaders try to halt billionaire exodus from leftist Mayor Mamdani's New York City. They're in a pickle. If wealthy residents leave en masse, the city will face huge losses of money. The splashy 1-2 punch of Citadel and Apollo honcho pledging to expand outside of New York has been coupled with a silent wave of businesses quiet quitting the city over a hostile work environment. Well, good. I hope it happens. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Fair share is what one couldn't steal. Do I think Trump's plan is to have Russia take the uranium? No, I don't think we want Russia to take it, but that maybe that could be. I don't know, but I thought we wanted it. And they never define what fair share is. That's right. They never define it. That way they'll always be right. They don't have to. If they never define something, that's part of the that's part of the issue that the left uses. They change the words. They don't define it. They keep it like nebulous. That way you can't figure it out. What's up, Dusky Dawn? Great to have you here tonight. Yes, very based, Weezy Bob, very based. Christine says the biggest threat to our national security is ignorance. Yes, definitely. Definitely ignore ants. Oh, Richard Tatership, what's up? How you doing? Just popped in to say hi and hit the like. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. How about only those who have filed their taxes for 5 years can vote and be citizens? I mean, if you know the history of this country, it started out that only landowners could vote. And there was also another thing in there that said, actually, and I don't support this. I'm not saying it should be this way, so don't take it the wrong way. But at the time when the Constitution was drafted, it said white landowners only could vote. So, I mean, maybe you could say only people who pay taxes, How about only landowners? Well, the thing about landowners is there's a lot of people that, they can't own land. And should they really be denied the right to vote because you rent an apartment? If you pay rent, you're paying rent. I would say there should be, honestly, I wouldn't have any problem with there being some kind of, service. Like you have to, to be able to become citizen, serve citizenship through service, whatever, guarantees citizenship. Like not just the military, but like other service, like other things. You know what I'm saying? Like do something like for the society, like civics tests would be great. It isn't our debt. Yeah. Not even paying taxes, but filing them. Yeah. We have that 4 years in the military. Well, no, I'm saying like to vote though, like incentive to own land. Yeah, it would be. But I mean, the landowners had skin in the game. They were makers, not takers. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't know. I mean, the way it is right now, it's like a very small percentage of the country actually owns a house, a property. Just taxpayers. If you are a constant leech, no vote for you. Yeah, like Starship Troopers, something like Starship Troopers, but not like the military. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do other stuff, like like something like not. Like there should be like a program, like a national service that you have to do 2 years or 4 years. And it's not necessarily the military. It could be other stuff. Yeah. Have them go forward to Clandatu. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Definitely. No skin in the game. The people are the problem. What's up, Snarf, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being back, man. Awesome to see you. All right. So here we go. This is about that mayor that we talked about last night. I was a little clip, but so the town council fires back after small town mayor fires the entire police force for allegedly insulting his wife. I don't want people that hate our country serving in the military. Well, we need to have better schooling. Our schools are teaching kids to hate the country. That's the problem. Greetings. What's up, Ank? Great to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being here. We have a house in Austin, 100 miles away, land 100 miles away. We cannot vote in our other county, even on county issues. Where's Bella Girl tonight? Well, she's waiting. She's here, but she's waiting to, she's waiting for her turn to be called to the poll. She's got to get, we're still right now. We're either an individual donation of $25 or $40 total for Bella to be called to the poll. Bella, make your way to the poll. And goose egg case abortion. Yeah. Landowners at the time were the only ones paying taxes. Yeah, well, we didn't have any income tax. So yeah, I guess that is we could translate that out that only people that pay taxes. We have had commies serving our military. Yeah, well, we shouldn't. We should get any commie should be immediately kicked out of the country. I think that's just me. She's champing at the bit. Yeah, champing at the bit to get on a poll. We had people who hate our country serving as federal judges. Oh, yes, we do. We have people that I don't think dual citizens, people who weren't born in America. I don't think. If you say only taxpayers can vote, the rich can negate poor people's votes by lowering taxes, which may sound good but can backfire too. Yes, Bella to the main stage. Bella to the main stage. In a small town in Cohutta, Georgia, is making big news after its mayor, Ron Shinnick, fired its entire police force. The town, with a population of around 1,000 people, saw all 10 of its police officers relieved of their duties after officers allegedly made inappropriate comments about his wife on Facebook. Yes, Bella needs to get paid. She does. What's up, Neuro? Awesome to see you. Make sure you'll hit that like, follow, smash the thumbs up, and repost it. When asked about the decision, Shinnick says, they'll get a paycheck. We're not that way, and I appreciate their service, okay? It's time for a change. This guy should be arrested. This guy should immediately, the Fed should be looking into this. I don't understand how you could do this. The dispute stems from last month when officers filed formal complaints against the former town clerk, Pat Shinnick, the mayor's wife. So they filed complaints and they got fired. This is a violation of law, what he's doing. He's using, it's corruption. It's, blatant abuse of power. Pat Shinnick was fired from a position for allegedly creating a hostile work environment. Hey, look at this. Calling Bella to the floor. Thank you so much, Renee. Calling Bella to the floor. Bella, take the main stage. Thank you so much. Wow, with that means we are now just $65 away from adding. Yeah, $65 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Renee. So very generous of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Renee. Yay, Renee. That's why most plans on restricting the vote to taxpayers specify net positive taxpayers, not people who get back more than they ever paid. Allowing all the takers to vote has already backfired. Well, yeah, if you allow people who are just living off the dole to vote for more dole, that's what happens. That's what's going to happen. Thanks, Renee. Thank you so much. The biggest problem with changing, is I can think of a system a swindler can't mini-max. Yeah. Pimp has put Bella out on the street. That's right. 124 watching, 68 likes. Can we do better? I think we could do better. I think we can. Oh, look at this. Christine says, hope Bella's toenail is better. Thank you so much. Actually, her toenail, the nail is completely gone. It's just the quick, that inner soft part. So she's walking with her back leg, and thank you so much for the $25. She's walking really weird. It hurts her, I think. And it's bothering her. She doesn't want to go in the grass. She is doing weird dances when she goes out to go potty. Thank you so much, Christine. Wow, that means we are now $40 away. Just $40 away. That means we're more than halfway there for a first additional hour. Thank you so much. It's Saturday night. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Christine. Dude, 370, seriously. And we need to stop putting them, in positions of power, authority over us, even if it's perceived power of authority. Yeah, definitely. Needs to stop. Following the complaint, Shinnick police chief and Greg Fowler and the town attorney Brian Rayburn said during a press conference the situation has been resolved using open dialogue and good faith mediation. The following week, the entire department was fired. During a packed special meeting of the Cohutta Town Council on Friday, the council voted to reinstate all officers immediately and provide back pay. Additionally, the council passed a separate measure to prevent Shitnik from firing officers for the next 30 days. His name is Shitnik. According to Channel 9 News, the council members say they stepped in after finding the town's charter wasn't followed when Mayor Shitnik dissolved the police department. The charter mandates that the mayor alert the town council at least 30 days before an employee is let go. Further, the charter requires the mayor to provide a clear reason. Here we go.
An emergency meeting was held tonight in the northwest Georgia town of Cohutta in Whitfield County after the mayor fired the town's entire police force.
This follows escalating tensions between the mayor and law enforcement. Fox 5's Denise Dillon was at tonight's packed meeting and reports the officers will soon be back on the job.
This meeting was called to discuss whether to reinstate the police department and potentially ask the mayor to resign. In the end, the cops got their jobs back and the mayor still has his job for now.
Tensions have run high on this issue from the very beginning.
Residents packed this emergency meeting in Cohutta after turmoil in the town. Many in this city of about 850 in Whitfield County, not far from the Tennessee line, say the drama has been going on for quite some time. Much of it centering around Mayor Ron Shinnick's wife, Pam, who served as the town clerk until she lost her job earlier this year. 6 police officers filed formal complaints alleging after Pam Shinnick was no longer town clerk, she still had access to personnel records and the payroll.
I was surprised that this whole thing happened.
When police officers showed up for work Wednesday, they found this note saying effective immediately, the PD has been dissolved. All personnel have been terminated. Officers say it was in retaliation for their complaints. The mayor has denied that, which brings us to this emergency city council meeting, where the city attorney said while the mayor can hire and fire personnel, he did not tell the city council before firing the officers.
It appears that the policies and procedures of this town have not been followed.
After going into executive session, council members returned without Mayor Shinnick.
The mayor voluntarily decided he was going to leave.
The council was to consider asking for the mayor's resignation. That issue was tabled indefinitely. As for the police officers, they'll get their jobs back.
We do not believe that they were legally disbanded, and we are going to reinstate them immediately.
This is a start to get us, get our police department back.
The city attorney will work with the sheriff's office, who has been handling law enforcement duties, to get the Cohutta police force back on the job as soon as possible. In Cohutta, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
I mean, the fact that this mayor thought that he could do this and is insane. So the mayor could basically just be like, I don't like you. You're going to arrest this guy. So the mayor could just hire and fire anybody he wants. There's no procedures or anything. Did that guy look in a mirror when he bought those glasses? I don't know. Probably not. Spirited reporter, yes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I can't. Small town problems. You ain't kidding, man. Yeah, he thinks he's Boss Hog. He does. He thinks he's Boss Hog. It's Sheriff Roscoe Pico Train. It's crazy, though, right? It's just insane. It's just insane. Georgia mayor fires entire police force. Mm-hmm.
Well, a national police shortage is causing small-town police departments across the U.S. to close, with nearly 40 disbanding their police forces since 2019. Meanwhile, Portland is feeling the impact, walking back their push to defund police, now recruiting officers with entry salaries of $80,000 plus a signing bonus. Our next guest is the chief from Independence, Missouri Police Department, and he's also feeling the effects of a staffing shortage. He joins us now. It's Chief Adam Dustman of Independence.
Hey, Fletcher, Boss Hog is right. What's up, buddy? By checks and balances.
Thanks, Will. Great to be with you. What's up, buddy? So let's start with this. Tell me about Independence. How big is it? How big is your police department?
So we have 327 total employees, 230 of them sworn officers in a population that is 123,000 and about 78 square miles.
Okay. A little bigger. I've heard of Independence, so I should have recognized it's probably bigger than it would be in my imagination. But Tell me about this problem. We talk a lot about defund the police movements and how it affected big cities, but this, I guess, perhaps trickle-down effect.
Hey, what's up, Jet? Great. Thanks for being
officers and departments in smaller, in your case,
Portland
you
itself,
know, not
yes,
a metropolis, but a smaller urban area, 120,000, and even smaller communities. What's going on with the police departments?
It's just a shortage of applicants. Will we, the same thing, it trickles down. You're exactly right. About 15 years ago, we would have 450 applicants easily for 1 or 2 spots with waiting lists a mile long, oftentimes being exhausted over a year. Now we're lucky if we get 4 applicants total, and we have currently 25 vacant spots, commission spots, and vacancies throughout the police department. And you're right, for us, it's a lot harder to fill those spots than it is a bigger city. But these small departments, 2 officers for them, maybe half of their police department.
What's the effect if you're running shortages like that? How does that, if I'm a citizen of Independence, like how do I see that? Do I see police officers left off in quote unquote on the beat? Like how does that affect my life?
So obviously you have a strain on services. We're fortunate enough that we can move officers around to be able to meet basic service needs, but you have traffic enforcement and other things that have a direct correlation to increases in crashes and just an overall lack of enforcement. Almost to your last segment, when things are video game-esque and there's no consequences, then we have that problem too. So that's the effect overall on us, on our staff. It's fatigue, overworking. You don't get to really have any of that downtime. Our officers are answering anywhere between 15 and 20 calls a day. And when you talk about the defund the police movement, there is no doubt that it has a massive effect. When you see and hear that the police are the enemy, who in the world is going to sign up and say, yes, please, I want to go do that job?
Right. Really quickly, just out of my own personal curiosity here, Chief, I don't know. I've really come to be someone who believes in this idea of community, and not every place can be Mayberry, right? But, and Independence is bigger than, again, perhaps the question I'm presenting you. But when you have a department like this, how many are local guys? How many are local Independence community members who decide to be cops versus we got to attract them from across the nation?
Several. So obviously, we attract and recruit here out of our own community, and we have several that are very proud Independence natives. But for me, I'm a native of Kansas City, so adjacent to Independence, the bigger city. But I came here because of this family feel, and so it is a huge draw. And I'm telling you, this profession is more noble now and than it ever has been before. Service above self, that sense of duty, and we will get there. I really do believe that. But the work that these men and women do on a daily basis is phenomenal.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Chief. Appreciate these small towns. Appreciate that sense of community, and appreciate what you bring to that community. Thank you so much.
So that's what's going on in small towns, and we got a small town here that just decides he's going to fire the whole police department. That's crazy. Well, I'm glad they all got their jobs back. Definitely. Yeah. Why would anybody want to be a cop when politicians don't back you? The same politician that wanted to fund the police have full police detail. Yeah. Like that Brandon Johnson in Chicago has like almost, I thought it was like 100 police officers or 100 and something police officers on his detail because he wants to take the train in. So they have to have cops on every train, cops at every platform. When he comes in, all this stuff basically on his detail to make sure nobody can get on a train to get him when he's riding the train in, to save money. Jesus. Yes. Let ICE in and help relieve the burden. That would be nice. What's up, Duck Vet? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. If the marks get turned down, things will go back to normal. You mean like the marks, like Karl Marx? So it's not known whether other employees were notified before the sign was posted, whether officers arrived at work that morning. So typos, yeah, I get it. Doesn't that help others on the train be safer too? Yeah, but just during that time, just during the time when he's riding the train into work. That's it. Marxists, yes. Just that's the only time. Say Just the News has just this. It's just small town, Georgetown reinstates police force after mayor fires them over social media posts. It's just crazy stuff, man. They should be suing anyway. So the town council voted to reinstate all the officers. That's great news. All right. And then we got U.S. are sanctioning companies and individuals in the Middle East and China for helping Iran. 100,000 is a small town, way too big for me. No, I thought they said there's only 1,000 people in this town, Steve. There's only 1,000 people in the town, and they have 10 cops. So they have a cop for every 100 people. The move targets 11 entities, 3 individuals based in Iran, China, Belarus, and the UAE. That's it? That's all you got on this? What the hell? Go to article. Oh, so CNBC, I already had that. Why? U.S. sanctions individuals and companies for aiding Iran's military. 100,000 and over 200 sworn officers. But yeah, that one was a town of 1,000. And they had 10 cops. So if 100,000 with 200 officers, that's what same difference there. So you got actually no, you got less. You got like one officer with only 200 sworn officers for 100,000. That's like one officer for every what? For every 500 residents. So one officer for every 500 residents. That's actually kind of I don't know what the numbers are. It seems kind of low to me. You live in the most boring suburb of a big city. That's 500. We have 1 to 500. Yeah, that's kind of should be like 1 to 250. Latest rounds of sanctions, some of which are on individual entities based in China, come days ahead of Trump's visit to meet Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The United States imposed sanctions on May 8th against 10 individuals and companies across the Middle East and China and Eastern Europe for helping Iran's military secure weapons, build drones, and ballistic missiles. Announced by the Department of Treasury, the sanctions come amid a strained ceasefire with Iran while a final deal has yet to be reached, and only days before President Trump's planned trip to China to meet with regime leader Xi Jinping. Can one guy take on 100? Well, no, but but you want to have, like, if you decided, if say you had a couple thousand, if you have a town of 1,000 people, the odds of all 1,000 people being out on the street is not good. But if 100 people go out, your 10 cops should be able to handle 100 people, maybe, as long as they're not, I don't know, emergencies, traffic, stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be a problem. So under Trump's decisive leadership, we will continue to keep America safe and target foreign individuals and companies providing Iran's military with weapons for use against U.S. forces. That's what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said. The agency still said it stands by the U.S. military taking economic and they are also taking economic action to prevent Iran's regime from regenerating, moving, or repatriating funds, disrupting billions in oil revenue, cryptocurrency, and Tehran's shadow banking network. Yes, please don't make Jim do math. Yes, math. I'm not a mathinator. I'm not a mathematizer. You live in Nashville. The downtown precinct is between 2 bars. That's awesome. Now, furthermore, the Treasury Department added that it was ready to act against foreign companies aiding illegal Iranian commerce, including airlines, and could impose more secondary sanctions on foreign financial institutions helping Iran, including those connected to the CCP's teapot oil refineries. You thought leaving and you did. Everything closes at 9 p.m. Bars. The 10 individuals and entities sanctioned on May 8th came a day after Treasury imposed sanctions on Iraqi Deputy Oil Minister Ali Maraji al-Badali. Bahadli. He behaves very Bahadli. Bahadli. See, look at his name. His name is Bahadli. He performs very Bahadli. And the leaders of 3 militia groups over their support for Iran. The agency accused Maraji of abusing his position to facilitate the diversion of oil to be sold for the benefit of the Iranian regime and its proxy militias in Iraq. Math material. Yeah, I can't do math. I'm not a matheminator. According to the department, Meraji enabled an Iranian-affiliated oil smuggler to mix Iranian oil with Iraqi oil and falsified documents on its origin before shipping it off to global markets. No math, no singing. Okay, I won't sing. I can't promise I won't sing. Iraq's oil ministry has denied the accusations, but Meraji has not personally commented. Like a rogue gang, the Iranian regime is pillaging resources that rightfully belong to the Iraqi people. Besson said in the Thursday post on X, Treasury will not stand idly by as Iran's military exploits Iraqi oil to fund terrorism against the United States and our partner. I was told there'd be no maths. A mathematician, yeah. Leaders of the Iranian-aligned terrorist group targeted by the U.S. sanctions announced May 7th include Khattab Saeed al-Shadada and Asyab Allah al-Haq. Well, that's interesting. He's al-Hacker. Mr. Al-Hacker. Mr. Al-Hackler. The sanctions are part of Trump's Operation Economic Fury aimed at financially choking Iran alongside military action while pressuring the regime into a deal. Hey, what's up? Not that Karen. Great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. While the surviving IRGC Corps leaders are trapped like rats in a sinking ship, the Treasury Department is unrelenting in our Economic Fury campaign. Although the Iran said it's reviewing the U.S. peace deal, the regime has continued attacking commercial vessels in the region, including a Chinese-owned oil tanker. And as Trump paused Project Freedom, an operation to protect ships in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran has also targeted the UAE after U.S. warships exchanged fire with Iranian forces in and around the key waterway. Despite this, the ceasefire remains intact, and Trump said he remains optimistic, saying that talks with Iran have shown progress and that a deal to end the war is very possible. We've had some good talks before, and all of a sudden the next day they forgot what happened. Now, look, it's very simple. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. And they've agreed to that, among other things. Well, then, I mean, what are we still fighting about that? Trump has warned that if the agreement's not reached, bombing will resume at a much higher level and intensity than before. I think that's what needs to happen. Senator Marco Rubio said that the White House is expecting a response to the proposal from Iran on May 8th. We're expecting a response from him today at some point, which I have not heard anything about any response coming from them. Rubio said during his visit with the Pope. Same thing from CNBC. U.S. sanctions companies and individuals involved. So until the world finds rest. What? What's this? Oh, look at this. So the U.S. is imposing sanctions, included today to action several entities in the Middle East. We're designating entities and individuals enabling efforts by Iran's military to secure weapons, as well as raw materials with applications on Iran's ballistic missile and UAV programs. Well, that's good. Iran said it's reviewing the messages received from the U.S. via Pakistani mediators, and have yet to reach a conclusion or deliver a reply. Axios and other news outlets reported earlier this week the countries were nearing a 14-point memorandum of understanding. So that's good. Where's Pat Hacker? The show's incomplete without her. I don't know. It might be too late for her. I know she. I think she's an early, like she likes the earlier shows. I think. And yeah, U.S. sanctions Chinese satellite imagery companies over Iran war. So yeah, the people that are providing the satellite imagery and stuff like that, that's who they're going after. All right. And so I don't know if this helps stop some stuff. Maybe it'll work. Bella's mid backflip. So there was this crash. Tower controllers responded to a packed airliner that fatally struck a pedestrian during takeoff. Frontier Airlines. This happened in Denver. Frontier Airlines fatally struck a passenger walking on the Denver airport runway Friday night, igniting an engine fire, forcing passengers to evacuate on emergency slides. Pilots aboard Frontier 4345, which was scheduled to fly to Los Angeles International Airport, reported striking a pedestrian during takeoff from Denver International Airport. Air traffic controller audio from the ATC.com, which was posted on social media, captured a crew reporting the emergency to the tower.
Frontier Flight 4345 Denver, RNF to Go Rock, 417 left, clear for takeoff.
RNF Go Rock, 17 left, clear for takeoff, Frontier 4345. Tower, Frontier, Tower, Frontier 4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody, we have an engine fire.
Frontier 4345, I see that.
Tower, Southwest 2921, left base for 16 left.
Skywest 5612, just hold your position. Skywest 5627, just hold your position.
Skywest 5627.
Southwest Frontier 4345, I'm going to be rolling the trucks now. Can you know the souls on board and fuel remaining?
All right, 4345, we have 231 souls on board. We have 21,320 pounds of fuel on board. There was an individual walking across the runway.
Okay, we are rolling the trucks down.
Wow. That's crazy.
Op 7 runway 17 left. 231 souls. We're rolling the trucks now.
Tower, I know you're busy. Southwest 2921. Are we cleared to land? 16 left.
Southwest 2921. Yes, sir. 16 left to land.
Clear to land. 16 left. Southwest 2921. We've got smoke in the aircraft. We're going to evacuate on the runway.
Okay. We're having ops and emergency vehicles going all the way now. Op 7, they're about halfway down the runway, 17 left. They're evacuating the runway, the aircraft on the runway.
Wow. I think that's the end of it. So when that's how many people reported pilot responding, we have 231 souls. That's what they say. They say the same thing on ships and stuff like that. How many souls? That's just what they, it's like, this is what they say. They call them souls. The engine ingested them. Yes, it did. How many more people are going to get hit? That's crazy, right? Did the blade shatter? Probably. I mean, were the Clintons around anywhere? It's possible. You read earlier, you've flown to Denver once or twice. I've been finding out all the weird things. I've definitely avoided at all costs. Well, they have turbine blades inside. They have turbine blades, like they're titanium. You read all this stuff earlier. Seems, I guess, new rules need to be implanted. An unknown person on a runway shut the whole thing down. Yeah. Suicide by plane? Maybe. He got turned into a mist. Yeah, he got sucked in. Like there's been people like this was, I don't know. We haven't got any reports about who it was. If this was somebody who worked at the airport who just like wandered into the wrong spot. They don't call them bodies because coffin riders wouldn't count as lost if they hit the plane went down. Passengers evacuated. So this is like a video, it looks like. Video, if you're looking at the wing, all you see is a blast. You have it? You got shot the link? You got the link? Cool. All right. I'll check that out. Thank you. Thank you, Gundam. Thank you, Gundam. Firefighters quickly responded to extinguish the fire. One passenger received minor injuries, and all those aboard the airliner are being evaluated, which is standard procedure. The flight had 231 people on board, according to a statement by the airport. As it was departing from Denver to LA, the aircraft struck a pedestrian on the runway. Smoke was reported in the cabin. Pilots aborted takeoff. Passengers were safely evacuated. We're deeply saddened by this event. Source told ABC News airport security was inspecting the east perimeter fence for gaps that might have allowed someone to enter the runway. You don't. Did anything enter the cabin? I'm not sure. Yes, he definitely wasn't in the crosswalk. Maybe a fentanyl zombie. Maybe Pat Hacker. There's Pat Hacker, everybody. How you doing, Pat Hacker? See, she's here. Not much to see, but the videographer knew it was an oops. Okay. Imagine the people that have to clean that mess up. Oh yeah, it's bad. Be real bad. Real bad. The Denver police are involved in the investigation. Identity and details have not yet been released. They said it was just a random guy who hopped the fence and got on the runway. That's not very smart. I mean, why would you run in front of a plane? I mean, I'm wondering if could this possibly be like, you see these things happen all the time in India with trains where people want to like get real close to the train and they get hit by the trains. This happens all the time. So I'm wondering if this might be the same thing now that they're here with airports. We want to run in front of the airports to take a picture with the airplane or something. Jet turbine blades are made out of Inconel, not titanium. Oh, okay. I thought they used to be made out of titanium. Total overhaul in that engine. He wanted to go. Okay, he wanted to go. Wouldn't want to take apart that engine. Those are the people who needed help. See any similarities with Jesus and jumping? Just didn't realize how fast 300 miles per hour really is. Maybe that's it. Yeah. The blades may have shattered. It could be. Some people try to go on to landing gear and fly somewhere else. Woof. Everything in India is jury-rigged. Denver is a shithole. San Francisco, when you approach from the water, feels like you're going to land in the water. Boston is like that too. Yeah. So a watch while video shows the moment the plane fatally strikes a trespasser on the runway. Okay. Trespasser on the runway at the Denver airport. Plane was bound for LAX. The plane was on its way to LAX. All right, let's see.
Sometimes the most generous companies out there, the most generous organizations, are actually private companies that save you money. Josh.
Oh, wow. Wow, we're going to watch that again. Remember when all those people climbed on the planes in Afghanistan? Yeah, so we'll watch this again. So here we're going to play it. I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Go half speed just to see if we can catch it. Right there. All right. Look at that. That's a fireball. I'm trying to see if we can see a person at all. No, you don't see a person at all. You don't see a person. It's just a flame ball. Wow. That's crazy. So the transportation Secretary Duffy released a statement saying late last night a trespasser breached airport security at Denver International Airport. That's from behind the engine. He painted the plane. Denver Airport is out in the middle of nothing. Dude was on a mission. Some bodies have fallen out of landing gear housing when they freeze or can't breathe, and the doors reopen for landing. Honolulu Airport feels like a water landing. Only thing San Fran Airport stuck in my mind was smelling musty and moldy. Hoping that doesn't become a trend. Yeah, you and me both. He got hit 10 times. Oh. How many times did they hit him? Quite a few times. Just kept happening over and over. Faster than a wood chipper. Yeah. Trespasser on a runway was struck by Frontier Airlines during takeoff at high speed. Preliminary reports are 12 people were hurt, 5 taken to hospital. And no funeral costs. Well, very, very low funeral costs. Isn't LaGuardia like that landing? I can't remember if it's the airport I'm thinking of. No need for cremation at this juncture. Local law enforcement handles airport security and is investigating. All right. All right. Here, this is from Fox. I don't know if this is going to be like someone explaining more stuff. We'll see.
Fox News alert.
We do indeed. Breaking overnight at Denver International Airport, where Frontier Airlines reports one of its planes struck a person on the runway during takeoff.
Madeline Rivera out of D.C. with the latest on what happened over at DIA. Morning, Maddie.
Hi, good morning, guys. Yeah, stunning incident here. There are a few details we're working to gather, including who this person was, what they were doing on the runway, what injuries they sustained, and whether they survived. Frontier Airlines
Whether they survived.
3:45 was taking off for Los Angeles from Denver when it hit a
Planes don't
pedestrian
have
on the
horns. Yeah,
runway
he didn't honk.
11:20 p.m. local time. In air traffic control recording, the pilot can be heard reporting the incident and saying there was an engine fire. Smoke was reported in the cabin, forcing the crew to begin an evacuation via slides. Airport officials say the Denver Fire Department quickly put out that fire, and emergency crews bus the passengers back to the terminal. Frontier Airlines saying in part the Airbus A321 was carrying 224 passengers and 7 crew members. We are investigating this incident and gathering more information in coordination with the airport and other safety authorities. We are deeply saddened by this event. Officials say they have notified the NTSB, adding that the runway 17L will remain closed while an investigation is being done.
Oh, of course.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Maddie. Let's bring in former FAA safety team representative and pilot. He's also an aviation analyst, Kyle Bailey.
Lots
Kyle,
in here now.
what are your thoughts on this incident, and what can you gather from the little bit of information we have from in public right now?
Good morning. So it seems like the Airbus was accelerating on runway 17 left. The fact that there was an individual on that runway means that most likely at this early hour, I would probably assume it was a trespasser on the airport, because these big airports have really tremendous safety protocols in place if there were construction workers on the airport property working. So again, in this early hour, I'm kind of leaning towards a trespasser on the airport property.
Right. And Kyle, so for our viewers, walk us through, are there FAA regulations about people being on the flight line? Like,
Yeah, terrible way to start a
obviously, we don't
vacation.
know what happened, but the big question is, what was this person doing at that spot?
Yeah, I mean, if it was a taxiway or ramp, I would say yes, possibly. Maybe it was a ground employee moving or servicing the airplane. The fact it's on the actual active runway, an individual out there pretty much would stick out like a sore thumb, because normally there is nobody in the vicinity of an active runway at all, unless it would be a trespasser on the airport. Even we could probably even rule out that there was somebody, you know, let's just say someone decided to sit inside of that engine.
Yeah. Can they even figure out who it was? Unless they find some ID or someone knows who it was, like a car or something. I don't know how they're going to find out who it was. That person's, there's nothing left. There's going to be nothing left. They're not going to be able to identify anything. They'd have to find like a driver's license or somehow that survived or some kind of ID. I don't know how else, or maybe cameras, maybe identify from cameras. But yeah, it's going to be hard. DNA, but you have to have something to test the DNA off of to know who it is. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to have something to test the DNA against. You couldn't, unless they're in the system. Spirit Airlines, he went from Frontier to Spirit instantly. Yes, great. Running away from Spirit Airlines. Did she just say, what are they doing on the runway? Yeah. Noise abatement, airplanes have to power back 1% to over 1% on the coast. Yeah, you feel LAX is a better option. Blood. Well, yeah, no, there's going to be blood, but I mean, some fingerprints, maybe fingerprints if they found his hands or fingers, but I would think most of them is going to be just like gone. It's just going to be nothing left. If he has no DNA record, like Jacoby says, they're not going to be able to just family member will have to report a missing, log DNA into the system, something like that.
On the ground. The fact that the pilot is reporting he struck an individual means that that individual probably was in fact on the airport property as a trespasser, I would assume.
Yeah, Kyle, listen, that airport is pretty far in an isolated area. I've flown in and out of DIA. I'm from Denver, but probably about 200 times. And so I'm just figuring it would be fairly difficult to get actually that far to the eastern half of that particular facility unless you're talking about someone who was a trespasser. And I say that because I know they run rounds of security all and around the runways throughout the day and night. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that is right. If you do not have a badge, you're confronted. And a lot of these big airports, like especially like New York, LaGuardia, Kennedy, they have sophisticated systems on the airport perimeter.
That's right.
Literally, that will pick up any trespassers. But Denver Airport is a really big airport that sits on a really large piece of property. I initially thought, could it possibly be a deer on the runway or something like that? But from that audio conversation, the pilot is quite clear that he hit a pedestrian.
Yeah, I was worried about that too, because, there are lots of wildlife out there too. We're talking about cattle and deer as well. So I was thinking that possibly.
Have you ever seen anything like this happen? Has anything like this happened before? And if it has, is it a suicide situation that somebody would walk onto a runway like that, or somebody who's just disoriented? I mean, I can't imagine how that could happen, especially understanding the level of security around the perimeter just to get inside.
Yeah, it's typically a trespasser. And I remember years back an incident at Newark Airport where somebody actually wandered off the New Jersey Turnpike. And I don't know if this individual was on drugs or anything like that, but pretty much wandered onto the airport property and actually crossed the active runway at Newark Airport many years ago. Similar situation.
Oh, look, they're showing all the stuff, trying to say like, look at all the problems with airport
these
security,
cases,
like mid-air collision.
Unfortunately, people do it, as a means of suicide. But the airplane would have to be at a decent speed to pretty much, to be ingested into that engine or to actually destroy
There's a joke in it somewhere. Yeah, maybe he was hitching a ride.
Because normally, if the pilot was going slower, he would see an individual in the distance. But this case, clearly, he was at a fairly fast speed where he was unable to stop or brake or even see the individual.
Right. Last quick question, Kyle. We were just showing our viewers the number of incidents that have happened on runways just this year, at least 4 and a few last year, where planes were clipping wings or clipping trucks or poles. Are we seeing a rise in incidents on runways?
The incidents are going up. But with the vehicles and moving airplanes around, some of these airports are just so busy and they're constantly moving airplanes, bringing airplanes in for maintenance. You have tugs out there where, the individuals might not be as well trained as pilots are. But just when there's a pedestrian involved, it's a whole different game because they shouldn't be out there. And then the other question is, that we have to ask down the road is how do they actually make it onto the active runway without being picked up by
security?
These multi-million-dollar security systems that the airports have.
Hey, what's up, Jacob Castro?
Yeah,
Chris
great point.
being here.
All right, Cal Bailey, thank you very much for your insight. We'll continue to follow this story.
So that's what happened on the runway. We'll wait for more information. It's going to be hard, I think. There's a brief engine fire. Emergency crews responded. Airport confirmed to Fox the person is deceased. Well, there's probably nothing left of that person. I mean, let's be real. There's probably nothing left at all of that person. So it'll be a way. Yes, the effects of the Biden DEI hires are showing. At least he didn't feel any pain. Pedestrian sounds like he was on a sidewalk. Yeah, it's like a train, no brakes. Last thing that went through his mind was a turbine blade. Oh man, that's some dark humor, but it's funny. Leaving scattered limbs on the runway. So okay. So if they found limbs, maybe they could get fingerprints, and if somehow his prints are in the system. He did hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage to that engine. Limbs on a runway. We have DNA yet. Yes, new law incoming. No jaywalking on the runway. It is sad. This is very sad. I just hope, I don't know. I mean, hope this wasn't just somebody who was had dementia or something and wandered onto the runway or. They're saying that they found limbs right here. It says leaving limbs on the runway. So glad I was not the only one thinking of the blade joke. So puree, no press. Well, see, it says limbs. So no, they stopped on the runway. Videos from my husband, who's the frontier flight that just caught on fire in Denver. Is that the engine right there that they're looking at? It looks pretty damaged. Partial engine fire forced the plane to stop. Frontier hit a person walking on the runway, take off. Frontier rejected the takeoff with an engine fire and evacuated everyone on the runway. I think we saw this already.
Tower, Frontier, Tower, Frontier 4345, we're stopping on the runway. We just hit somebody, we have an engine fire.
Frontier 4345, I see that.
Reporter.
Tower, Southwest 2921, left base for 16 left.
Frontier being answer from Southwest 4212, continue down the runway, and then Foxtrot, and then Charlie Sierra. Skywest 5612, just hold your position. 5627, just hold your position.
Hold position. 5627.
Southwest Frontier 4345, I'm going to be rolling the trucks now. Can you know, the souls on board and fuel remaining?
All right, 4345, we have 231 souls on board. We have 21,320 pounds of fuel on board. There was an individual walking across the runway.
Okay, we are rolling the trucks down. Op 7 Denver, did you copy all of this? Op 7 running 17 left. 231 souls. We're rolling the trucks now. Sky 5627, turn left on Papa 7, left on Echo. I'll have more for you.
Okay, left Papa 7 and Echo, Sky 5627. Tower, I know you're busy. Southwest 2921. Are we cleared to land? 16 left.
Southwest 2921, yes, sir. 16 left to land.
Land 16 left, Southwest 2921.
Op 7, yes, sir. Op 7, yes, sir. 17 left is closed.
We've got smoke in the aircraft. We're going to evacuate on the runway.
Okay. We're having ops and emergency vehicles going all the way now. Op 7, they're about halfway down the runway.
Yeah, so they're halfway down the runway. So unidentified person, a person at least partially sucked into one of the engines. Wow, look, you can see it, the inside of the engine. It's all wrecked right there. LA Pound family on the horror flight. So this is a good, right there's the engine. Look at that. It's just, oh, look at all the, oh my God, they're taking pictures. That's all blood. And look at it. See all the blood and everything? That's crazy. Oh my God. That's nuts. That amount of stuff. It shatters the blade. Wood chipper speed, 1,000 RPMs. Aero turbine jet engine is 10,000 RPMs. Yeah, they need some pressure washers. If he's late for his flight, he falls all to pieces. It's crazy. Partially. Yeah, partially. Wonder if he could, wonder if his family could sue the airport for not having crosswalks. Was it cell phone live by JetSuck? I don't know. It might have been somebody, I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe they thought they could cross. They saw the plane. They didn't realize how fast the plane was going. They thought they could make it. I don't know. It'll buff out. Yeah. Doesn't fly through flesh, no. I mean, that's pretty it's pretty gross. I mean, you could see all the blood and stuff there. That's crazy. When the engine blew up, I thought, oh crap, we're gonna die. Dad said he felt like the nose of the plane pitch up before the sound of a bomb rocking the cabin. Well, there's the people going on the slide. More people standing outside. This is just bad, man. Wow. Well, we'll just keep an eye on more stories. I don't know. I hope this doesn't become a trend with more stuff like this happening. Yes, guts. Yeah. Next story is the what is going on? U.S. strike destroys drug boat in Eastern Pacific, killing 2 and leaving 1 survivor. I don't know what to say that, but I read that somewhere else. Yeah, Twilight Zone, there's a creature on the wing. The lights on the runway are strong. He saw it coming. Yeah. They used frozen turkeys to test the engines. I think he was trying to be a stowaway on a landing gear. It's possible. Yes, he had guts. Yes. It was Pokemon. Operation marked the latest U.S. strike targeting suspected narco terrorists. On May 8th, U.S. forces struck in the Eastern Pacific, killing 2. Pentagon said there is a field called in There's a video of what, Snarf, of this strike, or are you talking about the guy? There's a field called investigative genetic genealogy that specializes in identifying people using DNA. They don't use Ancestry and other similar sites because it's against terms of service. Barnes is going to have another meltdown over this boat strike, probably. Of the frozen turkeys? Oh, okay. Yeah, the frozen turkeys on engines and the windscreens. Wow. Pentagon said a military conducted a lethal strike on Friday against a vessel in the Eastern Pacific operated by designated terrorist organization involved in drug trafficking, killing 2, leaving 1 survivor. Southern Command said May 8th the strike was part of Operation Southern Spear, a campaign that uses military force against drug smuggling vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific after designated major cartels and trafficking networks as terrorist organizations. What? Wait, hold on. Yeah, and they're saying that the drugs are used to kill Americans as part of a regular combat. Gundam says, I, for one, find it never gets old watching narco boats get torched. Yeah. Just want to point out, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes, and we are currently $40 away from adding an additional hour to the show. So just keep that in mind. I know we're approaching the mark, the end of the goal on YouTube. It says we have 21 minutes left on YouTube, but even once that expires, as long as I'm still going, if the money comes in, we will extend the show and keep it going. Irregular combat, yeah, regular warfare, I think is what they call it. And intelligence confirmed the vessel was transiting along known narco-terror routes in the Eastern Pacific and was engaged in narco-trafficking operations. 2 male narco-terrorists were killed, and 1 survived. Is the Venezuelan fishermen starving that need fish this much? Can't they just get a fishing permit if they can afford a huge boat engines? You would think something like that would happen, Charles. Hey, thanks for being here, Charles. Long time no see. The command said no U.S. military personnel were harmed in the operation, and that the Coast Guard was immediately notified to activate search and rescue procedures for the survivor. Critter says, agreed, blow them in the next kingdom. Oh my God, look at this. Renee Collins, 5. Jim tells you, remember? Wow, folks, what do you know about that? Let's see who got those. It says that Sylvia, 7111, received a gift of membership. Roddy Letman, Rogue Mama, Clark Unglued, and Beautiful Messy Ball all received gifted memberships from Renee Collins. Thank you so much, Renee. That means right now, folks, we are just $10 away. Just $10 away from adding the first additional hour of the show. Thank you so much, Renee. Oh, look at that. Dan Gagax's rally time.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much. With that 10, that means we hit the goal for an extra hour. And then right after that, Spuds comes in with a rally time for 5. So that means right now we are just 95 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. I adjusted the banner. Wow. And then Fletcher Boy comes in and says, done. Thank you, Fletcher Boy. That means right now we are just $85 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. I was late responding. Well, Renee says, I love it when we all come together. I do too, Renee. I do too. Thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Yay, I never win anything. Well, you did, Rodney. You got it this time. Fletcher says, I used to have a laissez-faire attitude about drugs until the opioid and meth epidemic. Yeah. I mean, you responded late too. That's okay. What's what Grizzle says here? Yay, upside down, jump around. Yay, more Bellavision and Jim telling it like it is. Well, you're welcome, Critter Sitter. The military did not identify the terrorist organization operating the vessel or disclose the precise location. The operation was the latest in a series of maritime strikes carried out under the Joint Task Force for Southern Spirit, which was established to disrupt narco-terrorists operating illicitly in the Western Hemisphere. Friday's strike followed several similar campaigns in recent weeks. On May 5th, they said American forces carried out a lethal kinetic strike against a vessel in the Eastern Pacific, killing 3 people alleged to be involved in narco-terrorism. Earlier in the day, Southern Command announced a strike on suspected narco-terrorist vessel in the Caribbean that killed 2 people. U.S. Naval Institute reported that there's been at least 186 people killed linked to narco-terrorist trafficking networks that have been killed or presumed dead in more than 50 strikes. Testimony before the House Committee on Armed Services, Acting Assistant Secretary of War for Homeland Defense and the Americas said the campaign has significantly disrupted maritime trafficking routes. The effects have been significant and profound, Humeyer said. Since the first September strike, there's been at least a 20% reduction of the movement of drug vessels in the Caribbean and an additional 25% reduction in the Eastern Pacific. The operation have drawn criticism from human rights groups, a bunch of crybabies. Cinco de Mayo fireworks in the Eastern Pacific. That's right. Extra treats for Bella. I found out shrooms are growing all over the property. Oh, all over Denver? Well, maybe that could be why they're there. What type of shrooms, Snarf? In December, articles published by the Naval Institute retired Captain Matt Dolan argued the campaign bypassed critical international law thresholds. Another crybaby. Human Rights Watch alleged in its 2026 report that the strikes were blatantly unlawful. No, they're not. If Trump was just killing fishermen, wouldn't it be investigated by the JAG or the IG? Yeah, well, it would be if it was just fishermen, but it's not. Trump said the cartels involved in trafficking fentanyl, cocaine, and other narcotics into the United States pose a national security threat that warrants military action. The president determined these cartels are non-state armed groups, designated them as terrorist organizations, determined that their actions constitute an armed attack against the United States. The White House notified lawmakers that President Trump has declared cartels to be unlawful combatants using illicit drugs to kill Americans. Yes, they are. More Americans are killed by drugs than anything else. Anything else. It's like it's crazy. You see Mexico's denial that their embassies are being used as political action committees. Yeah, they can deny it, but they're going to get closed down. Lion's mane, think about the growing medicinal kind. Okay. So there's that with that. Let's see. Is Fox minded? Maybe Fox will have a video of it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Fox, of course, has got a video. Let's see. Is there going to be sound or is it just going to be probably no sound? Just there's the boat and it's gone. Well, let's see one more time. The boat's being obscured. Is it smoking already? They carried out a lethal strike on the vessel. Well, here's another one.
For more on this now, let's bring in national security and military analyst Dr. Rebecca Grant. She's vice president of the Lexington Institute. It's curious. No missiles, no tanks on display during the May Day parade in Moscow, ostensibly because they're all on the front line.
This is okay. That has nothing to do with this. On May 8th, the direction of Southcom commander, they conducted a lethal kinetic strike. All right, so this is the same one. We saw this. All right. So, Pentagon says one survivor after latest strike. What's my prediction for the LA mayor's race and governor's race? I don't know. I mean, weren't we talking about China wanting to take over the Panama Canal several months ago? Well, China was in there in the Panama Canal. Chinese companies had control over it. They were forced out because basically we told the Panamanians, there's only 2 countries that are allowed to control the Panama Canal, you and us. That's it. By treaty. That's it. Reassign the NATO troops to Southcon. That's not a bad idea. Heat signature, yeah. So they're checking it out. White House announced Wednesday the president signed off on new counterterrorism strategy set, eliminating drug cartels, also eliminating Antifa and leftist organizations, anarchists, and stuff like that. So this says at least 192 people have been killed. Last one said 186. So critics have questioned the overall legality. Well, they're a bunch of crybabies. That's about all I can say. Save the AP. What the hell was that story from Newsmax? Okay. So this is China's April exports rebound strongly after sluggish March. So China is claiming that their exports are up 14% or something like that. So exports grew by 14% in April, according to China, beating March in forecast. China's trade surplus grew by 84 billion from 51, grew to 84 billion from 51 billion in March. Factory data published last month show input prices remain elevated. But you can't trust anything that comes out of China. Amazon redeem card click. Oh, okay. Is there a mod in Rumble that can take care of that bot out of there and posting those links? Oh, Jimbo. What's really weird about all the drug boat interventions is that all we've done with the cartels, street drug prices have not gone up. I have friends in local police and prices have stayed stable. Thank you so much for the 20. That's probably because it's still coming in over land. Mexico is still bringing in a ton of stuff because of NAFTA and because of the amount of traffic that crosses the border itself by land and trucks and everything. It's still coming in through Mexico and through the Canadian border. That's why, unfortunately. So that's why they have stateless. Thank you so much for the 20, J.H. Swalback. It is so greatly appreciated. And with that 20, that means that we are now just $65 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Mr. J.H. Swalback, for a very generous donation. Coming across the northern border, I think it's coming in from planes from Canada. Yes. Get rid of those bots. Especially when they're closing links like that. Those are dangerous links. If somebody clicks on it, it can really screw them up. Why won't it let me get rid of that? Oh. I'm confused. So Chinese exporters, so exports expanded 14% year over year from earlier. This plane is Canadian. No. Big beautiful northern wall. No small Mexicans allowed. The California political machine made up its mind on who the man in Sacramento is going to be. Maybe. To be clear, the by sea aspect is all show. The bulk of legal shipping has to the major ports. Yeah, all this stuff is coming in, packed in with stuff that's coming in legally. That because they can't inspect everything that comes through, they can only inspect like 10% of the vehicles that come through. So they just pack it in a bunch of boats and they just hope for a bunch of tractor trailers, semis, and stuff, and hope for the best. You think it took away the active hot link, leaving the text? Okay. Logistics of inspecting tens of thousands of containers is impossible. Yeah, that's the thing. There's when they did NAFTA, that basically made the Mexican cartels so much more powerful. The ones like in Juarez, basically Juarez's cartel. Oh my God, it made them super powerful, super duper powerful. Because if the link is showing, you need to refresh. Okay, all right. I have the chat popped out, so I can't really refresh it. Port of Houston is very busy. It's all stuff, New export orders rose to their highest level in 2 years. Imports notched another strong month in April. China's surplus boosted from 51 billion to 84 billion. But even China, long criticized by trading partners for subsidy-backed cut-price manufacturing, is not insulated from the hit to buyers' purchasing power as fuel and transportation costs rise. Factory data published last month showed input prices remain elevated. Unemployment rates edged higher. U.S. President Trump is scheduled to go to China next week for a meeting with President Xi Jinping, a trip that could yield gains on farm trade and airline parts. I don't trust the Chinese at all. They suck. I don't trust them at all. I don't trust them at all. You never know. They're constantly lying. They're constantly playing a game. They're constantly shifting things. They say one thing, they do another. You know. So that's about that with that. And then look at this. This is crazy. If anybody's been on a cruise that's going to the Bahamas, oh buddy. If you're going on a cruise going to the Bahamas, you're going to be outraged because I guess they passed a law in the Bahamas that they can't sell any alcohol during elections. I guess they got some law in the Bahamas that during election times, they don't want people drinking because I guess they're worried drunk people will vote for the wrong people or something maybe. Or if it's not that, I don't know exactly. And maybe it'll be more to it in the story, but it seems crazy to me that they cannot sell alcohol at all in the Bahamians during elections or something. Very base. China does not honor agreements. No, it doesn't honor them at all. The same factory that makes name brands makes the Temu stuff. Yeah. Xi is Winnie the Pooh. That's right. Xi Jinping is Winnie the Pooh. Xi Jinping is Winnie the Pooh. Los Angeles is the busiest port, but Houston is the busiest by tonnage. Yeah. Well, the stuff that comes in over, in tractor trailers, a lot of the stuff they basically don't even stop and get inspected. They just drive through because they got like pre-approved. They're these shipping companies, and they come in and yes, make sure you hit the like button and follow the thing, smash the thumbs up, repost it, subscribe, become a member, all that good stuff. Outraged cruise passengers erupt as Bahamian booze ban impacts major voyages. A temporary alcohol ban will roll out at Caribbean destinations next week, leaving cruise passengers high and dry on shore. The Bahamas will suspend alcohol sales as the country holds elections on Tuesday, May 12th. A government notice obtained by Fox News Digital says the ban will take place that day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Parliamentary Commission is suspending sales of intoxicating liquors while polls remain open. Maybe they fight a lot when they're drunk. Yeah, I think the increase in exports from China is materials more than finished goods. Could be. Any person selling or exposing or offering for sale any intoxicating liquor during such hours shall be deemed to be doing while not holding a license under provisions of the Business License Act. Restrictions cover all Bahamian islands, including private islands operated by cruise companies. Cruise giant Royal Caribbean confirmed to People magazine that the ban applies to its private island, Coco Cay. Coco Cay? Coco Cay? Coco Cay? Coco Cay? Coco Cay? Coco Cay? Temporary ban will roll out on the Caribbean islands next week. Two Royal Caribbean ships, Oasis of the Sea and Wonder of the Seas, will be visiting Coco Cay during that time. Alcohol will continue to be sold aboard ships while the ban is in place on shore. But guests on cruise ship visiting Bahamian ports on May 12th cannot purchase alcohol ashore. Bahamian cops are going to make a lot off of that. Yeah. Royal Caribbean is respecting and complying with all local laws and regulations as we do with every destination we visit. One outraged customer vented on X, writing that she would be in the Bahamas on a special trip with her husband and felt she learned about the restriction too late. We scheduled a trip with stops in the Bahamas for our 40th anniversary. We're going with 26 of our friends. Planned activities at Coco Cay and Nassau. The X user continued. The general election has banned all alcohol for the 2 days we are there. And we find out only 2 days before we leave? Not a way to treat customers who cruise 4 times a year. You're cuckoo for Coco Bay. Good for you. The woman added that she would have picked a different itinerary to celebrate with our friends if she had known about the ban earlier. Well, what if you're staying? This doesn't make any sense. What if you're staying in an all-inclusive resort? You're not going to be voting. You're not going to be participating. So why, what if you're staying at like what's it called? Atlantis. Atlantis is on the Bahamas. It's all inclusive. You're not leaving. So they're not going to sell alcohol for 2 days at Atlantis. That's crazy. Cuckoo for cocoa cake. Yeah. There was a lobbyist in Tennessee known as the Golden Goose. He represented liquor stores and was famous for $100 handshakes. Only coconut milk for you. Ever heard of a flask? Yeah. Well, they're not saying you can't drink. They're just saying they can't sell alcohol. So I guess maybe they would have them put it in their rooms or something ahead of time. 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 22nd. China has been selling Iran's oil. They're playing the game. It's not a big deal. Go back on the boat. What about the people that are on the islands, though? That if you're staying on, like Atlantis, it's an all-inclusive resort. 26-member group that cruise 4 times a year. Which cult is that? Scientologists, probably. 12th. Kentucky had a law that prohibited booze sales on election day. I can't remember when it changed. Well, because I think Kentucky used to have a problem where they would actually, like, it was a thing they would do where the people would give out bottles to certain people for voting and free shots and stuff like that, free bottles. You know, they could come into bars and get a shot or whatever. It could be a Dutch person. They go on vacation 5 times a year. A traveler on a Facebook group, Royal Caribbean Cruise Tips and Updates, said, this happened to us on April 30th. It really sucked life out of our day visit at the Royal Beach Club Paradise Island. The bartenders and waitstaff were standing around bummed also. So why does this keep happening? People just want to wine. Yeah. People just want wine. Yeah. If you want to drink on your trip, just bring your own liquor. Yes. Who would go on a cruise? Not me. Yeah, not with the Hantavirus running around. I want to do that. The bourbon tour is a fun thing to do. I always wanted to do that. There'd be a bunch of mad voters. The ship can supply. Yeah. Let's see if there's a news story. Disappointing cruise passengers erupt as alcohol ban affects major voyages. Oh, let's see. We're going to have to see some drunk people complaining.
Shell Point redefines retirement living, and the chance to be part of it all is closer than you imagine.
So right, so we're gonna sing Happy Engagement.
What?
Oh my God. Okay.
What? No, we
1,
didn't.
2, and 3. Happy Engagement to you. Happy Engagement to you. Happy Engagement. Happy Engagement. Happy Engagement to you.
What if she says no? What does this have to do with the booze ban? What if she said no? Happy engagement, I believe. What if she said no? I don't know what that had to do with them. I don't know what it had to do with the story. They just put anything in there, I guess. Temporary alcohol ban will roll on the Caribbean island destinations next week, leaving cruise passengers high and dry. The Bahamas will suspend alcohol sales on Tuesday, May 12th. Outraged cruise passengers, blast companies, idiotic new dress codes. I don't know. Any person selling or, yeah, we saw this. Not really. People Magazine, same thing. Temporary alcohol ban in popular Caribbean country will apply to tourists from cruise ships. So I don't know that it's that big of a deal. You know, they're making a big deal out of it because, I don't know, slow news day. If they're on a trip, buy the booze ahead of time and stock up. My dummy brother-in-law brought liquor in his suitcase. They made him leave it. You can't say no in front of everyone. You have to wait until later if you ever cared about a person. Oh. They already engaged several times. Look at all the kids. What was that thing? She's like, I'm not engaged. What are you talking about? I'm not engaged. What are you talking about? All right. Goal ended on YouTube. That means I'm going to restart the goal on YouTube's for another hour because we are already got the first goal for the first hour. And we are currently $65 away from the second additional hour of the show. We'll start another goal. Should I do the 10 super chats again for $10 or higher? Does it matter? Or the 20 for $5? I'll do the 20 for $5 just because, I mean, technically I could do close to 10. You know, you guys know what's up. Because we're only 65 away. If we were 50 away, then I could just do 10 for $5. That would be much easier. But we're 65 away from the second additional hour. For 1 hour, 25. Yes. There we go. Perfect. All right. All righty. You can't buy a car in Nevada on Sundays. It's the law. All right. All right. On to the next story. We got Iran's disfigured and probably gay supreme leader seems to be directing negotiations with the U.S. They have 2 days. California has 2 months for elections. Yeah, imagine if California said you couldn't buy alcohol during elections and it was the 2 months. Don't they say Friday, Saturday, Sunday is where the news goes to die? Very slow news day. It is a very slow news day today. It really is. I mean, there is some stuff we're going to talk about. We've covered some good stories. I got some stories. I just don't know, if they're not like crazy. I mean, there's drama stuff to talk about, but I don't get into that stuff. Car dealers cannot be open both Saturday and Sunday in Texas, so only one or the other. Well, no wonder the IRGC goes their own way. Yes, you can go your own way, go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is reportedly still playing a critical role in Iran's war strategy, making the strongest indicator of his influence over Tehran since rising to power, and the first to come from U.S. intelligence sources. Khamenei, 56, is believed to be directing Iran's negotiations with the U.S. from his unknown hideout. Multiple sources familiar with U.S. intelligence reports told CNN. IRGC, dyslexia makes acronyms hard for me. What is it? The Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. Indiana's not better. No beer sales on Sunday. Probably gay. Oompa loompa oopity doo. Yeah. I wonder if you can smoke pot since you can't have booze. Your husband singing backup to your singing. Well, that's awesome. Probably a furry and gay. Yes, probably a furry and gay. No problem, KPT. Thank you. You're welcome. So he's believed to be badly disfigured, having lost a leg during U.S. and Israeli strikes that started the war. The new Supreme burrito was previously described as a crunch wrap burrito, a little crispy on the outside and soft and gooey on the inside. But he's still mentally sharp, but people close to his inner circle who said he was meeting with senior Islamic Republic officials and helping to make decisions on Pakistani mediation peace talks. Unknown hideout. Why did Intel reveal that? Did he try to cross the runway? Maybe. I mean, they're probably trying to find him and locate him and deliver something. Allegedly, he's in Russia. It's possible he's in Russia. Quite possible. It could be. They could have smuggled him there for treatments. Despite reports, nobody knows where he's hiding out. The U.S. believes is probably gay. Khamenei, who the U.S. believes is gay, despite leading a nation where homosexuality is outlawed, has yet to be seen or heard from since he was appointed as his father's successor. He's a successor. He is a successor because he's gay. State media has read written statements attributed to the younger Khamenei on just 3 occasions since taking over the theocratic regime. Ginger says, I was behind. Yeah, it's definitely gay. Yes. What's this? Oh, hey, buddy, I help Kip streamers get followers, views, and subs fast. Meet up your goal. Hit me on Discord. AB. Oh, cool. It's a scientific term, definitely. 1,000 followers and active viewers and subs. Oh, cool. Yes, you're only gay if you suck it or take it. Yeah, well, he's gay. He's a successor. Iran, however, claims its new Ayatollah is in good physical shape despite the damning reports. Khamenei is now in complete health. Mazahir Hosseini said. So that, I'd have to say if they're saying that, maybe he's really, really bad or dead. It's definitely gay. Definitely gay. Khamenei is now in complete health. About the new Supreme burrito. Thank God he's in good health. We have him wrapped up in many tortillas and he's keeping warm. Oh, what ship is that? A ship that no longer exists, I bet. Khamenei's been involved in decisions to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The enemy is spreading all kinds of rumors and false claims. He will speak to you when the time is right. The time is right when they're holding on. They're gonna be the one, number one. Hosseini claimed a small piece of shrapnel had hit him behind the ear, but assured Khomeini was on the mend. Oh, a small piece of shrapnel hit him behind the ear. The Ayatollah, however, is believed to have bad burns on his face, arm, torso, and leg on one side of his body, according to the same intelligence sources. The cleric also isn't using any electronics, making it harder for foreign intelligence to track his whereabouts. He's reportedly only interacting with senior leaders face-to-face or by sending messages via a courier. Yeah. Yes. You got the song, right? There you go, Blondie. That's right. It's the tide is high, but I changed the words just a little bit because I like to do that. I wrote a song about it. When I hear it, here goes. Even though his influence over the negotiations to end the war and reopen the straits have been felt, senior IRGC officials are believed to be running the day-to-day operations in Tehran. I think this Ayatollah is a piece of cardboard. Yeah, now do Rapture. Fab Five Freddy was a big at the time. Face-to-face, half a face, holding out. Rapture. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian claimed Thursday he recently met with Khomeini for more than 2 hours. Has anyone seen our auto pen? I haven't seen him anywhere. Yes. Making the first reported in-person meeting with the Islamic Republic ruler, Heart of Glass. It's a good song, Heart of Glass. Iran, trust me, bro. He's in the next room and he's brilliant. Yes, no, I'm not Blondie. I know I'm not Blondie. I could never be Blondie. What struck me most, and her real Deborah Harry. I could never be Deborah Harry. What struck me most during this meeting was the vision and humble and sincere approach of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution. Pezeshkian gushed, according to Iran state media. Well, what do we think? Deborah Harry's your second favorite lesbian? Yes, that's on a t-shirt somewhere. Oh, cool. Don't you know when it's heart of glass? That's a good song. Yep. U.S. intel is said to assess that Mohammad Khomeini is playing a key role in our war strategy. Well, I don't know. Do we think he's gay? Put 1 in the chat if you think he's gay. Put 2 in the chat if you think he's definitely gay. Yeah. Deborah Harry's the first rapper. I don't know. 3. Definitely 3. High. Isn't Sugar Hill Gang? Wasn't the Sugar Hill? When was the Sugar Hill Gang? Rapper's Delight. Was that before or after Heart of Glass and Rapture? Okay, on to the next story. If you call yourself Supreme Leader, you're gay. Yes. 3, most definitely gay. Deborah Harry in the movie Videodrome with James Wood she was in quite a few movies. Deborah Harry, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Fab Five Freddy. She sings about Fab Five Freddy. So that's what I'm saying. Like Fab Five Freddy was before, and so those people like the Sugar Hill Gang. Blondie was a good band. Yeah. Emergency crews responding to a massive explosion at a New Orleans oil refinery. Uh-oh. This ain't good for gas prices. This is not good for gas prices. This could be a problem for gas prices. Looks like smoke to me. I don't see a massive explosion, but I see smoke. Explosion at the refinery. Emergency crews responded to a New Orleans refinery after a large explosion Friday afternoon rocked the Chalmette community.
For more on this now, let's bring in national security and military analyst Dr. Rebecca Grant. She's vice president of the Lexington.
Why do they keep going to the stupid video? Shows a large plume of smoke at the Chalmette refinery, which processes roughly 189,000 barrels of crude per day. So it's not a big, 189,000 barrels is not a big refinery. Or is it? I don't think it is. It's unclear whether there were any injuries or fatalities. St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Office confirmed there was a fire at the refinery, noting a number of road closures while emergency workers responded. Motorists were asked to avoid the area and seek alternate routes. It's only like the 15th suspicious fire. It is weird, isn't it? The supreme leader's in charge as much as Biden was, double its size. I have been in direct contact with local officials and law enforcement on the ground regarding the situation at Chalmette Refinery. We're actively monitoring developments and working closely with parish leaders and first responders to ensure public safety and provide any updates needed. Chalmette, Louisiana is located 5 miles east of downtown New Orleans along the Mississippi River. Says, doesn't look good. Explosion rocks major New Orleans area refinery as fuel markets tighten. Doesn't look good. Explosion rocks. A fire broke out Friday afternoon at PBF's Energy Chalmette refinery. Reuters cited people familiar with the incident said 190,000 barrel per day Chalmette refinery was suffered an explosion. Explosion can be traced to so let's see. So 190,000 barrels. Let me do some quick math here. This is just rough math too. So that's roughly like 10.5 million gallons a day of gas. Explosion can be traced to a former heater used to convert refining byproducts into octane boosting components added to unfinished gas to make premium and mid-grade fuel blends. 190,000 barrels per day refined is one of the major Gulf Coast refineries because it produces gasoline, distillates, and specialty chemicals. So any sustained outage can impact regional fuel balances. Fence line monitoring confirms no offsite impacts. Everyone working in the area is safe and accounted for. Talk about toxic smoke, runaway. Yeah, toxic smoke would be a thing from that. That would be some major issues. Some major issues. So Bloomberg noted the refinery completed a month-long maintenance program on several units at the end of April. So this was just shut down for maintenance. Gas Buddy had analysts said not only are the molecules in the refinery itself under tremendous pressure, but refineries themselves are under tremendous pressure with huge implications as crack spreads soar. Too early to tell what happened here, but certainly doesn't look good. Phew, the cheap gas isn't affected. There's been a notable uptick in the number of refinery fire news stories, according to Bloomberg data. Whether those stories are in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, or the U.S. Look at all the stories about refinery fires, man. It's just up. With crude products supplies tightening worldwide and the Hormuz choke point still heavily disrupted, any refinery taken offline is an ominous sign for the fuel markets. Refinery fires are starting to look like food factory fires from several years ago. Can you believe that? Food factory fires from several years ago. All right, so here we got a news story about it. Looks like there's actually an explosion. This is a local news story. At Chalmette, Thursday sent 6 smokes. So this says Thursday. Why is it saying Thursday? And the other story said Friday. That doesn't make a lot of sense. St. Bernard President Louis Polms said, firefighters, sheriff deputies, parish emergency crew, refinery teams responded immediately at explosion. Wow, there's an explosion.
Another big story we're following right now, an explosion and fire at the Chalmette refinery, rattling neighbors for miles.
Thankfully, no one was hurt. Everyone is accounted for, but new questions are flaring up. WDSU investigative reporter Cassie Sherm live in St. Bernard Parish with what we're learning with the latest information. Cassie?
That's right, guys. So you guys, we're talking about weather. Take a look here. We got lots of weather here. Not great for us crews out here, but great for that fire, as the fire is still burning but contained right back behind me here, leaving a lot of questions tonight, like how did this start? How did that explosion happen? What was in the fire that was burning? But also, why did the sirens not go off in this area here? Now take a look at this video. This is viewer video sent of that fire. You can see the flames in the air. Now, viewers in the area tell me that they heard a loud explosion miles away, and 25 parish firefighters had to come to assist to the scene. Officials say the crews kept the flames from spreading by cooling nearby tanks while the fire continued burning inside the unit. Now, no injuries were reported and no evacuations were ordered. Parish leaders say that air monitoring around the refinery is not showing any dangerous readings at this time or during the response. But many residents say they had never heard a warning, and that was concerning to not only them, but also the parish president. Why do you think the alarms didn't go off when it came to this?
That's not a question I can't answer. They do an investigation right now.
That's
Concern you, though, as a parish president?
Yes. Wait a minute. Did he just say that's not a question I can't answer?
Investigation right now.
Does that concern you, though, as a parish president?
Yes, it does. It does. It's
The alarms didn't go off when it came to this.
that's not a question I can't answer. They do an investigation right now.
Does that concern you, though, as a parish president?
Yes, it does. It does. It's but one of the most important things is the response time between the sheriff department, our local fire department, and their firefighters. It's training that they do year round. So that's the most important thing that we was able to respond to this and keep everyone safe.
I thought so too. Maybe I'm wrong.
Now, with the fire contained and hopefully out with all of this rain coming in, the next step is the investigation into what exactly happened and what possibly went wrong. We'll be following this very closely. Back here in Chalmette, I'm Cassie Sherm. Back to you.
Cassie, thank you. Well, right now, passionate testimony resonating through the state capitol.
Wow, awesome. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on all this stuff. Check out gas prices. So fire prevention inspector said crews were able to get the fire under control within 10 minutes. There's another video. Looks like.
When things don't work, alert.
Really? You're going to do that to me? You're going to play a freaking commercial on every video?
When things don't work,
alert. All right, you guys suck. That's a sucky thing. No injuries reported after explosion and fire at New Orleans area refinery. All right. And then we got, so hopefully that doesn't affect gas prices too much. It doesn't cause a spike. It sounds to me like that's a naughty question I can't answer. Sound like that. Premium country. That there be Permian country. Permian Basin. Yes. Double negatives is rampant in East Texas, Louisiana areas. Okay. Maybe. That's not a question I can't answer. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So this is a crazy story here. Company pulls away from drilling project in the Black Hills area.
Announced on social media this evening that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe announced on social media this evening that Pete Lean and Sons is pulling away from a drilling project in the Black Hills. Last week, 9 tribes sued the U.S. National Forest Service for being in violation of the National Historic Preservation Act. The Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe says that Pete Lean and Sons decided to drop its exploratory.
See, this is why we can't get any of these, rare earth metals. We can't get the stuff, the lithium, all this stuff out of the earth, because anytime we go to drill, try to get it, to mine, to explore, to find it, we get these people start screaming and crying like a bunch of babies. We have to say this is enough. None of this stuff happened 100 years ago, or at all. We would just go get the stuff. That's why the U.S. was so great 100 years ago, because we just went and got the stuff out of the ground. But if it's not the EPA, it's crybabies suing, saying like, "Oh, my great-great-granddaddy might have pooped in this land, so you can't do this here." Somebody, this is sacred land or whatever. There's no such thing as sacred land. Just get it on. Let's go.
mining project near the sacred Pesla site in the Black Hills. In a statement, Chairman Ryman LeBeau said, quote, "This is an important victory for the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, the Ochete Shukaway, and all those who stood together to protect Pesla."
I'll say shuck away. I'd say go the fuck of that away. So the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe and the Suckaway tribes have won a lawsuit against Pete Lean and Sons graphite mining project. Wow. Cough, cough, Andrew Jackson. Have you seen what strip mining is doing in Colorado outside Cripple Creek? It's very straight. Well, strip mining is very bad. There's tons of strip mines in Illinois, and they would just come strip mine. But I mean, yeah, we got to get to Mars. Yes. 131 operating refineries in the U.S., mostly along the Gulf Coast, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. It's an important victory for the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. A letter sent from PLS notified the U.S. Forest Service of its intent to formally withdraw its plan of operation for the Rockford Mineral Exploration Project. I live next to a huge copper mine. 70% of the copper comes from Arizona. No, White House North Lawn evacuates after officer involved shooting. Last week, the tribe and 8 other Lakota, Nakota, and Dakota tribes sued the U.S. Forest Service over the project, saying that they were in violation of the National Historical Preservation Act by failing to engage in meaningful, mutual, and legally required government-to-government consultation with the tribes. I think it's nuts. I think it's nuts. Judge Thieler ruled that the PLS project will not be complete within 1 year, since reclamation activities will continue for up to 3 years after all the drilling is completed. The court's ruling and decision by PLS to drop the project are important victories. Yeah, for who? For the Chinese? Are the Chinese paying these fucking tribes to do this? What is with them? What does it matter? This is bullshit. We need to stop this. The court's ruling and decision to drop the project are important victories. What is it really? Sacred lands are safe. What the fuck, your sacred lands? Sacred ceremonies practiced on those lands may continue. I'm sorry. This is all bullshit. Yeah, those generalities pack the gratification. You ain't kidding. It's a testament to the people, organization, tribal government who showed unified action, determination, and courage in the face of what seemed to be overwhelming odds. Black Hills Clean Water Alliance. Yeah, all this is there's our fucking tree huggers trying to stop. You just want the rest of the world to pass us by. Unless the entire world is ready to live without high technology, the rare earth elements have to be mined. Yeah. Native grift, you ain't kidding. This world is becoming greasy. Yes, it is. Betty Broderick passed on May 8th. Oh, that's terrible. I lived in Arizona 16 years. Their tribal lands were hot, sandy cactus, mostly nothing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Mining, Black Hills mining drilling project canceled after backlash from the tribes. Yeah. Look at them all with their fists up. They're fucking communists. This is all being funded by the fucking commies. This is all the commies. It's fucking commies. It's all the fucking commies. Oh, I put this thing down here, so it makes it my sacred land because I put a fucking bearskin down and some stakes, and I'm going to put some twigs. Fuck these people. I have no respect for them. South Dakota Mining Company cancels its drilling projects. The group opposed the project because of its proximity to a sacred site called Pesla, a meadow in the Black Hills where Sioux tribes hold ceremonies and pray throughout the year. The land is also used for buffalo grazing. So it's not on the land, but it's near the land. It's proximity. I think I saw this water from the mines. This wasn't a mine. This was just to drill. They were just doing exploratory drilling, looking to see what was there. That was it. It was just drilling. They were going to drill, like they use like a drill bit, like a corer. It's like a pipe, basically, that takes things up out of the ground so they can see what's down there, so they can get down and see what's there. Translation, we're planning on building a casino there. The Forest Service did not immediately return a request for comment. Yeah, they're fucking commies. Yeah. We all live on still conquered land. That's right. It's not doesn't seem too conquered, does it? If they can stop you from drilling a hole. 9 tribes in South Dakota and Nebraska filed a lawsuit against the Forest Service over the project alleging violations. Yeah, fuck them. There's also a lawsuit filed by NDN Collective and environmental groups. Yeah, environmental groups. These are the fucking environmental groups. The Ice Age can do more. I'm saying, let these people fucking, sorry, I keep swearing. And a case, temporary restraining order granted against them on Monday, prohibited drilling for 2 weeks. So they got a temporary restraining order. And they're like, you know what? Fuck this. We're not dealing with it. That's what happened. They're like, we're not dealing with it. In a statement, the collective said, today's a win is a multifaceted, offers a blueprint for future land defense fights. Trying to start a rally on PayPal. Well, thank you. Can we start a rally? I'm not ready to go to bed yet. KPT on PayPal. Thank you so much. That means right now, folks, we are just 60 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. There from KPT as we hit the 2.5 hour mark on the show. Thank you so much. Earth is just a ball of molten iron. Need Elon's boring tunnel machines. Yeah, just go underneath them so they don't even know it. That's what you do. You go in somewhere else and just dig. About 14 to 50,000 chemical plants in the U.S. per Google and only 130 refineries. It's crazy, right? Crazy. It's nuts. So the Black Hills, a name for the appearance of the pine and spruce-covered rolling hills, is home to attractions like Mount Rushmore and state parks, but it's long been a site of tension between mining interests and tribes. Of course it is. 1868 Treaty of Fort Laramie established that the Black Hills belonged to the Sioux tribes, but the U.S. government seized the land years later after the discovery of gold. The Supreme Court later ruled the tribes were owed compensation, but they have not accepted it and maintained the land, claimed the land. But it's not theirs. We said it's ours, and we offered you compensation. You didn't take it, so I guess you're just fucked. Oh, look at this. Somebody with a hijab on writing the story. Go figure. Go figure. This is another crazy one, folks. So we need to mine. If we need to mine, we're going to have to do it, and they're just going to have to deal with it. The Supreme Court didn't say the land was theirs. The Supreme Court said they get compensation. So if they don't want the compensation, then they're just SOL, as they say. This is crazy. Look at this. Federal judge dismisses former Trump supporters' defamation suit against Fox News. And you would read this headline and you go, oh my God, which Trump supporter? Who could this be? This is who could this be? Who could it be now? Who could it be now? Oh, yes. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Not that Karen says, but I say that too, to all the mothers out there. Got to hit the hay. Busy day tomorrow. Thanks for a great show. Well, thank you for being here so much. Make sure you hit the like on your way out. Tell your friends. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. This lawsuit was filed by none other than Ray, I'm not a Fed Epps, which he's a total Fed. Federal judge on Friday threw out the defamation lawsuit against Fox News, ruling for a second time against former Donald Trump supporter, who I don't believe he was. I think he was his plant the whole time. I don't think he ever supported Donald Trump, who said he received death threats from when the network aired false conspiracy theories about his involvement. He was fucking involved. What is this? His false conspiracy theories about his involvement? Are you serious? Raymond Epps, a former Marine, was falsely accused by Fox of being a government agent. Really? Falsely accused? The Boring Company is building a tunnel from downtown to the airport in Nashville. That's awesome. U.S. District Judge Jennifer L. Hall in Delaware granted Fox's motion to dismiss the case, finding Epps failed to show enough evidence to prove Fox knew its statements were false. The judge previously dismissed the case, but gave Epps a second chance. Her Friday ruling said he still fell short. Epps named Tucker Carlson, who was fired from Fox, as being the most active promoter of the conspiracy theory. Is it a conspiracy theory? Is it really? At the time, Carlson hosted Fox's most popular show. Epps was featured in more than a dozen segments. I mean, Epps was on camera whispering stuff into people's ears, telling them to go in, saying the day before, and everyone goes, Fed, Fed, Fed. He didn't get charged for the longest time. They gave him a pass. Then they just charged him and then just released him. Said, oh, okay, yeah, you're guilty, but you don't have to go to jail. Tucker is back on the shrooms. In a statement on Friday, Fox News said it was pleased with the court ruling. Epps pleaded guilty to misdemeanor charges and was sentenced to a year of probation. He was later pardoned by Trump alongside 1,500 others. Well, because it was just a blanket pardon. But here's the thing. How come Epps was the only person that got probation? Everyone else went to jail for a long time. As Tucker said, what his proposal is, besides blaming Israel, not that I know of, the Osage tribe-made windmill company tear down a project over digging up minerals during the footing. Could they make every house with the footing be torn down? I don't know. Lurchlinger, I don't get it. I don't understand how any of this stuff is happening. We defeated them. They're conquered. Either they're U.S. citizens or they're not. If they think there's something separate, then I guess we need to have another war to figure it out. We can't have subversive governments operating inside the U.S. Now we got to deal with these Indians. We got to deal with the fucking Chinese. We got to deal with the fucking communists, the black separatists. I mean, what the fuck? Federal prosecutors have backed up X's vehement denials that he was a government plant. Oh, you sure he wasn't a secret government informant? Because they said there was thousands of those. They said Epps has never been a government employee or agent. Yeah, well, no one said he was an agent or employee. See, that's the C they just twisted up there. He was an informant. He was working on behalf. He was a paid informant. He was an op, an undercover op, whatever you want to call it. 77% of Tucker's content is now Israel critical. Yeah. The houses on those lands are trailers or shacks, no footing that I've ever seen. It's just crazy. I mean, Epps clearly, the FBI said they had all types of assets there. They had so many agents. They had other people who were just, undercovers working behind the scenes, doing all types of things. Okay. Then Ben Crump, the shakedown artist, scored a win for black employees in a racial discrimination settlement. $50 million Ben Crump shook down Google for. Google will adopt pay equity and transparency measures after setting a biased lawsuit from black workers claiming discrimination in hiring and pay. Anything Ben Crump is involved with, I don't buy as legit. I'm sorry.
Looking for affordable dental care? Pure.
Google will adopt pay equity, not pay equality, equity. See, here's this thing. It's equity, not equality, equity. So what does that mean? That black people got to get paid more? Because that's what equity means. And transparency measures after settling a biased lawsuit with workers. I mean, this is just crazy. Not pay equality, pay equity.
View Health Center, your local healthcare center.
Google reaching a settlement in a racial discrimination lawsuit, agreeing to pay $50 million. Black employees accusing Google of systemic racial disparities.
Systemic racial
and
disparity.
Advancement. One claim alleges hiring managers deem black candidates, quote, not googly enough. Google has not responded.
Yeah. Google has settled with black employees who allege systemic racial disparities in hiring, pay, and advancement. A former Google employee, April Curley, sued the tech giant for racial discrimination, saying it engages in a pattern and practice of unfair treatment towards black workers. The suit claimed the company steered them into lower level and lower paid jobs. So steered them into jobs they were qualified for? And subjected them. So Google, the woke company that's all woke, all the shit you're expecting to believe, they did all this stuff. Apple and Google is full of the H-1B visa holders. Google super woke, all the stuff, did all these things, but yet they're racist. I don't know. You guys believe this? The fact that Ray Epps got a special plea agreement show he was working for someone in D.C. Exactly. Do you think the Supreme Burrito is alive? I don't know. Maybe. Suit claimed the company steered him into lower level, lower paying jobs. Other Google workers also joined the suit, which later received class action status. Of course it did. The case is about accountability, says Ben Crump, the race hustler who represented the plaintiffs. So it's just Ben Crump. This is the same Jesse Jackson, Ben Crump shakedown. $50 million is cheaper than going to court for Google. Representative plaintiff said, for far too long, black employees in the tech industry have faced barriers that limit opportunity. This settlement is a significant step towards holding one of the world's most powerful companies accountable. Make clear, discriminatory practices will not be tolerated. The settlement was announced in May 2025 and granted final approval this week. Google said when the settlement was reached that it strongly disagrees with the allegations that it treated anyone improperly. It remains committed to paying, hiring, and leveling all employees consistently. Yeah, what about the job you're qualified for and paid for the job you do? Well, that's the thing. They want equity. They want it to be like, oh, you got for every one of these people, for every Asian you have to have a black. That's what they want. That's what they want. The lawsuit echoed years of complaints from black employees at the companies, includes prominent artificial intelligence scholar Timnit Gebru, who said she was pushed out in 2020 after a dispute over a research paper examining the societal dangers of an emerging branch of artificial intelligence. So she was pushed out over a dispute over a research paper. It had nothing to do with the color of her skin. Oh my God! Oh, we don't agree with your paper. We think your paper is wrong. We don't agree with it. Oh, you're racist. It's always someone else's fault. The 2022 lawsuit claimed the Mountain View, California-based Google viewed black job candidates through harmful racial stereotypes. Yes, 115 ups and 149 walk-up t-shirts alike and makes Bella happy. Racism fatigue. I have racism fatigue. Claiming that hiring managers deem black candidates not googly enough. A plain dog whistle for racial discrimination. Is it possible there was another reason? According to the suit, interviewers hazed and undermined black candidates and hired black candidates into lower paying and lower level roles with less advancement potential based on their race and racial stereotypes. Is it about that, or was it about what they were qualified to do? Yeah, bring out Al Sharpton. Well, this is the new one. This is Ben Crump. Yeah, that's racist. It is. In addition, according to the suit, a settlement which does not constitute an admission of liability also includes a commitment to pay equity analyses, pay transparency measures. So equity, not equality, equity. Why did they ask why they were not hired? Pay for performance. It also includes pay equity. Man, that's crazy. Limits on mandatory arbitration for employee-related disputes, although at least August 2026, according to Crump. Oh, so they don't want to have to go through. They want to be able to just sue. They don't want to have to go through the arbitration. Was her paper about how Google was really founded by black women? Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's the problem. This is just crazy. This is just to Google $50 million is like you've given somebody $50 to go away. Let's be clear. That's what it's about. Google's just like, go away. We didn't do this, but we're not going to fight with you and argue about it. Mm-hmm. Google settles racial discrimination lawsuit for $50 million. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So I don't know. I just think it's just a shakedown. They gave Ben Crump $50 million to give to all his clients. He was representing a class action, you see. So he's going to get the majority of that money, just like he does on any other lawsuits when he sues cities over police shootings and stuff like that. Non-political question. You've been looking at changing jobs. What's your thoughts on HVAC, welding, and truck driver? Welding is the best job out of the three, I would say. HVAC is a good work, depending on where you are. Truck drivers, I don't know about that. So the lawyer gets the lion's share. Yep, that's how class actions work. So good news, folks. Good news. The Justice Department seeks to revoke citizenship for 12 naturalized Americans. Well, they're not Americans. They were traitors, traitorios, traitorinos. We covered one of these stories talking about the guy who was the black women built them pyramids. Yes, they did. The Justice Department said Friday it's seeking to revoke the citizenship of 12 naturalized Americans, claiming they attained their citizenship fraudulently. The department claimed that 12 individuals have been accused of serious offenses, including providing material support to a terrorist group, committing war crimes, sexually abusing a minor, which are all grounds for denaturalization. Is one Ilhan? I wish. They really need to be looking at Ilhan Omar. They need Ilhan Hell. How do you spell that? You're fine. I got it. Welding's good all the way around. Good welders, especially welders that can weld overhead. It's a really, really important thing. Especially Ilhan Omar and Zoran Bagami Mamdani should all have their naturalizations stripped. Individuals implicated in committing fraud, heinous crimes such as sex abuse, or expressing support for terrorism should never have been naturalized as United States citizens. The Trump administration is taking action to correct these egregious violations of our immigration system. Those who intentionally conceal their criminal histories or misrepresent themselves during the naturalization process will face the fullest extent of the law. Yeah, welders in Texas, Austin start $75 an hour to start. Yeah. Those who intentionally conceal their criminal histories or misrepresent themselves during the naturalization process will face the fullest extent of the law. The department filed the court documents to revoke citizenship in Arizona, California, Florida, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. Welders can do it in any position. No, there's a special welders that weld. There's welders that weld below and welders that weld overhead. I know there's a difference. You got to be certified in both. The migrants were from, the aliens were from multiple countries, including 2 citizens from Colombia, 1 from Bolivia, China, Gambia, India, Iraq, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Somalia, and Uzbekistan. It says, is there an IBW, International Brother of Electrical Workers near you? They will pay you to learn the electrical trades. They don't pay you the initial schooling, the first year schooling you don't get paid for, but you get paid ever after that. I think it's 11 weeks or something like that, or 9 weeks, 11 weeks of school, maybe something like that. I can't remember. They don't pay you to start. You have to get through the first thing, and then the Department of Justice continues to file denaturalization actions at record speeds to restore integrity in our naturalization processes. Disturbing criminal histories confirm these individuals should have never received the privilege of U.S. citizenship. Hey, Gripper, what's up, buddy? Vegans taste like chicken. Hey, bro, what's up? We remain committed to leveraging every tool available under the law to pursue those who obtain their U.S. citizenship unlawfully. Yes, that's right. We don't want them to be here unlawfully. It's not a good time. Oh no, we can dance and party all night and drink some cherry wine. La 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 la. All trades are in need of new persons. The boomers are retiring. The young ones think they're above that kind of work. Yes, definitely. Definitively. Hey, Critter Sitter, Gripper, what's up? Bum, 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 bum. Terror ties. Escalation as citizenship crackdown on a group accused of hiding terror ties and violent crimes. This is Dan Bongino. Danny Bongino.
2 weeks for attacks. In Austin, Texas, a gunman wearing a sweatshirt that said property of Allah and a shirt with the Iranian flag underneath opened fire on a popular street, killing 3, hurting 14. The suspect, Ndiaga Diagne, was a naturalized U.S. citizen born in Senegal. In New York City, 2 ISIS wannabes threw IEDs into a crowd. Both men are U.S. citizens, parents immigrants. They traveled to the Middle East recently for months at a time, and they all emigrated from the region years ago. Today in Norfolk, Virginia,
Wait, what happened?
in an ROTC classroom at Old Dominion University, as we just discussed, a convicted ISIS supporter killing one, yelling Allahu Akbar during the attack. The gunman, Mohammed Jalloh, is again a naturalized U.S. citizen, this time from Sierra Leone. And in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, a truck driven into a synagogue. The suspect is dead. The FBI is still investigating who he is, where he's from. These stories raise many important questions about our national priorities. And
yeah, keep pausing. Just keep doing it. Keep pausing. There you go.
Immigrant assimilation and the rise of violent anti-Semitism. And it's something the president has been warning about for many years.
The common thread linking the major Islamic terrorist attacks that have recently occurred on our soil is that they have involved immigrants or the children of immigrants.
Oh,
we should only admit into this country those who share our values and respect our people. Those who do not believe in our Constitution or who support bigotry and hatred will not be admitted for immigration into our country.
Of course, this all got worse. This all got worse under Joe Biden's open border. In just 2 years of Biden, there were 272 terror-related encounters at the border.
Crazy.
Those are only the ones, of course, that were caught. The truth is, we have no idea how many ISIS
We have no idea how many ISIS
sympathizers
sympathizers
got
are
through,
killed.
how many are
None
here
of them.
now,
We don't
how
know.
many are
We don't know.
naturalized citizens.
We don't know.
We have no idea
No
how many
clue.
are being radicalized,
None.
whether by individuals or online.
No clue whatsoever.
Here's the reality. The United States admits more people than any other country on the face of the earth. We've had a serious problem in our country of terrorism, radicalization, and serious problems of people joining ISIS, joining terror groups, joining al-Qaeda, and committing or attempting to commit acts of crime and terror against our nation.
It has to stop. It has to stop.
We need to protect the
Hey,
homeland.
Steve Towell, what's up, man?
And
Great
given
to
what's
see you.
happened over the last 2 weeks,
You're afraid it's
last
only going to
month,
get worse. Me
the
too.
threats now coming from Iran, it's more important than ever to reassess
Recent story
who
about
we've
data
allowed
centers
into this
pushing trade war.
country,
Wow.
who's here now,
Yes, we have to
and
know.
our national priorities as far
have
as
to know.
immigration. Here to react is Dan Bongino, Fox News contributor and former deputy director of the FBI. Dan, today was
Ron
just
Strickland won
another
the belt back
awful day. Could have
decision.
been a lot worse. Your reaction?
Well, thankfully, we have a president right now who is absolutely clear-eyed on the immigration problem. When I say the immigration problem, I think you kind of hit on it in the beginning there. I'm not just talking about illegal immigration, which is an obvious problem. It's illegal. I'm talking about the legal immigration issue we've had as well. Laura, I understand the economics of immigration, demographics, funding, Social Security. I get that. Put that aside for a second. Economics don't mean anything if you're dead. We have to see this clear-eyed, and this president does. You know, importing the entire world and having this permissive immigration system where we allow people in that maybe don't share our cultural values. It's national suicide to do that. Now, this is the important part of this. I want to emphasize. I say that because this is critical now, given the advancements in communication technology and social media. In order to join a terror group, say 3-4 decades ago, you'd have to interact with someone.
Yeah, you now it's all done online and stuff. You don't have to actually go. They can just all connect online. You don't have to go anywhere.
There'd have to be some face-to-face contact. There'd have to be some pamphlet you received. That's not the way this works anymore. We saw a dramatic uptick during my time at the FBI of teenagers, yes, teenagers, being subjected to this online propaganda. And thankfully, a lot of it you don't hear about in the news. We intercepted it early. You're never going to be able to catch everyone, Laura.
Yep,
so you have these two buckets, right? You have this bucket of, say, radicalized, self-radicalized people, like we've seen this just a couple of cases just you indicated in the opener the last few weeks. Then you have the possibility of terror cells. The cells are easier to interdict because there's usually some communication mechanism to some foreign FTO, foreign terror organization. And we have exquisite surveillance capabilities for non-USPers, non-U.S. persons outside of U.S. soil. Once you get here, and to just put a cherry on top of this, once you get here, even if you're not an USPer, a U.S. person or a U.S. cit, once you're on U.S. soil, the rules are different.
Yeah, that's right. Once they get on U.S. soil, the rules are different. That's why we got to stop them before they get here. Justice Department ramped up its use of a rarely deployed tool to strip citizenship, which is awesome. Blanche said, sweeping enforcement, anyone who intentionally conceals their criminal history or misrepresents himself during naturalization will face the fullest extent of the law. Feds lost operation targeting Minnesota refugees for potential deportation amid fraud investigation. That's right. Get them out. Fraud allegations, they got to go. DOJ seeks to strip naturalization of U.S. citizenship from immigrants accused of murder, terrorism, and marriage fraud. Good. Get it done. Marriage fraud, firearms trafficking, terrorism, murder, identity fraud, possessing child porn, among other things. They all got to go. Teenage girls flew over to be indoctrinated. Yeah, they all got to go. Go. An Iraqi official asked federal government to extradite Ahmad in 2019. Check this out. Oh, wow. Among the DOJ seeking to denaturalize is 48-year-old Ali Youssef Ahmed of Iraq, who entered the United States in 2009, thanks Obama, by claiming that he and his family were attacked by al-Qaeda terrorists. In 2019, Iraqi officials asked the federal government to extradite him for allegedly murdering 2 police officers, accusing him of being a leader in al-Qaeda. Ahmed was able to secure citizenship in 2015. Mortgage fraud and wire fraud for 500, Alex. Iraq, yeah, so the DOJ is seeking to denaturalize Oscar Alberto Pelez of Colombia, a Roman Catholic priest who pleaded guilty in 2002 to sexually abusing a child from 1998 to 2000, as well as 46-year-old Lebustuvos Rostovos of Uzbekistan, who in 2005 paid an American citizen to enter into a sham marriage for him so he could secure a green card. Rozakov allegedly paid another American to marry his actual romantic partner. A few years later, Rozakov divorced his sham marriage wife, and in 2012 secured naturalized citizenship. After naturalized, he wed to an Uzbek woman in another sham marriage so that she can get a green card. Khalid Uzani, a 48-year-old immigrant from Morocco, may be stripped of his naturalized citizenship awarded to him in 2006 after he provided support to al-Qaeda alongside two men later convicted of attempting to bomb the New York Stock Exchange. A year after naturalizing, Kuzani sent tens of thousands of dollars in fraudulent money to al-Qaeda, and in 2008, he took an oath dedicating his life to a terrorist organization. Kuzani was convicted in 2010. And it's nuts, man. It's nuts that this stuff is going on like this. It really is. How it's still happening everywhere. The DOJ is taking similar denaturalization steps against 43-year-old Salah Osam Ahmed of Smelia, who secured naturalized citizenship in 2007. After getting citizenship, Ahmed traveled to Somalia to join al-Shabaab, killing Ethiopians as part of his mission with the terrorist group. Ahmed was convicted in 2009. The other immigrants and their crimes from the DOJ seeking to naturalize are Babakar Mahbub of Gambia. Babakar is a native of Gambia while serving in the military as a police officer in the Gambian army. He participated along with 15 other soldiers in the execution of 6 officers following the orders from his commanding officer who believed the victims were plotting a counter coup against then President Yahya Jammeh, all without giving their victims the benefit of a trial. Mahbub concealed his involvement in the war crimes and acts of persecution through his immigration and naturalization proceedings after entering the U.S. in 2002. He naturalized as a citizen in 2011, but in testimony before a hearing of the Gambian Truth, Reconciliations, and Reparations Committee, oh my God, held April 9th, Mr. Mahbub admitted to executing his 6 fellow officers. United States is seeking to revoke his citizenship of naturalization because he obtained his citizenship illegally by concealing material facts and willfully misrepresenting his military background. I think they also need deported to CCOT. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt. Kevin Robin Suarez of Bolivia, beginning in May 2016 and continuing for 10 months after his January 17th naturalization, Kevin Suarez engaged in conspiracy to purchase firearms through saw purchasers for the eventual exportation to firearms to Bolivia and other Latin American countries. Working with his sister, Suarez solicited individuals to purchase firearms on their behalf from licensed firearm dealers and provide firearms to Suarez's fathers. These firearms were part of a larger network of gun trafficking from South Florida to Bolivia by Bolivian nationals. Once in Bolivia, the guns were often sent to drug trafficking operations in Brazil, Paraguay, and Peru. I read the 3 names and I said Peru. Fueling drug violence there. Suarez pleaded guilty to conspiracy to cause false statements to be made to federal licensed firearm dealers in violation of 18 U.S.C. 371 and 18 U.S.C. 924A1A in February 2020. Suarez legally procured his naturalization as a citizen because his crime precluded the required good moral character to naturalize. Also, Suarez falsely testified under oath and misrepresented and concealed facts that were material determining his naturalization capability. Moving on down the line, yeah. Oh, so this guy, Sheikh, a resident of Fairdale, Kentucky, unlawfully procured his naturalization and obtained his naturalization by concealment, material fact. In 2019, before he naturalized and while he was in the Marines, Sheikh possessed indecent images of 2 minor individuals. Oh my God. Wood chipper, wood chipper, wood chipper. He possessed decent materials. The crimes and his efforts to hide those crimes from the government throughout his naturalization proceedings warrant his denaturalization. In addition, Sheik naturalized based on military service, but received an other than honorable discharge for misconduct from the U.S. Marines after failing to serve honorably for 5 years, warranting his denaturalization. Oh, yeah, you can't do that. And this Dabshish Ghosh of India, before Dabshish Ghosh naturalized, he conspired to defraud investors of $2.5 million intended for a construction of an aircraft maintenance facility. After naturalizing, Ghosh, a native of India, continued the fraudulent scheme, misrepresenting the location and safekeeping of investor funding. But in his 2012 naturalization application, Ghosh claimed that he never committed a crime or offense for which he was not arrested. See, I asked him that question. Have you ever committed any crimes that you weren't arrested for? That way, if they do get arrested later, they'd be like, well, you fucking lied. And then we can denaturalize you. It's good. Good thinking. The complaint against Ghosh alleges he's subject to denaturalization because during the period in which he's statutorily required to demonstrate good moral character, he committed a crime, committed unlawful acts adversely reflected on his moral character, falsely testified about his crime. Additionally, Ghosh willfully misrepresented the material fact of his crime during his naturalization proceeding. This guy, Pin He of China, was ordered removed under the same name, Chun Di-He, in 1992. After he was ordered removed under the name Chun Hindi in 92, Pin He applied for immigration benefit the very next year under a different identity. The application was granted. He obtained permanent residence. He naturalized under the identity and immigration history of Pin He without ever disclosing his prior removal under Chun Di-He. Because Mr. He obtained his citizenship after concealing his prior identity and misrepresenting his eligibility for citizenship, the United States seeking to revoke his citizenship. And this George Okahiri from Nigeria, he naturalized under a false identity of Mr. Okahiri was born in Nigeria, first entered the United States via issuing his true name, George Afan Okahiri. Approximately 2 years later, he obtained temporary resident status using a false name, Oliver Bennett Okahiri, and a false date of birth. He adjusted his status to the lawful permanent resident using a false name. He filed an application for naturalization, which was approved, and he became a naturalized citizen. This guy, after being removed from the United States in 2000 under a different name, changed his identity. It's another guy from Nigeria. This guy, Akambi. This guy was kicked out and then came back. Sylvia says they really have to track the people who they let folks in who do the vetting interviews. It stinks. Yes, it's terrible, isn't it? Very bad. Very, 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 very bad. Very, very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. Okay. Very bad. I mean, they should really start paying a lot more attention to who they let in. It seems like these people come in, they get kicked out, they come back, they give a different name, and it's like no big deal. It's more common than they disclose. U.S. military is quite cliquey and likes recreational RICO activities. Met a few with OnlyFans accounts. Oh my God. Adolf Oliver Nipples. Okay. Now I funny. So, yeah, I think they need to be denaturalizing a lot more people. How did he naturalize using false info? Don't they get why he was tracked with fingerprints on the application? I don't know. I don't know. You would think when they deport somebody under a name, they would have his fingerprints, and then when he comes in with a different name, that they would get his fingerprints before they naturalize him. It seems like somebody screwed up. And big media never comes any of this. We need 10,000 subs for Jim channels. Where is the news? They get an F for fail. Thanks, Jonathan. I really appreciate you guys like it. I really do. I really do. So, coming out of Utah, cameras will be allowed at accused killer Tyler Robinson's murder trial. He's the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk by shooting him in the neck. Until they just change identity and reapply. That's what it seems like. I put the circles in with the slash. Oh, not to read it. Oh, okay. Oh, I read it anyway. Judge determines that there's going to be cameras will be allowed. Cameras will be allowed at the trial of Tyler Robinson, the twisted Utah man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. A judge ruled Friday with the late activist widow and news agencies. Lawyers for Robinson lost their argument that if the public continues to see images of the accused gunman in court, it could prejudice potential jurors. Robinson's team claimed the press had sensationalized the case, pushing political agendas to villainize him. This guy fucking shot him, allegedly, in front of all these witnesses, thousands of people's live streamed. It's on the video. You could see it happen. So what does he think? I mean, he thinks people aren't going to recognize?
That really assumes that there is a...
No.
I just need more space. I feel like I'm suffocating.
Damn it. That pisses me off.
And that really assumes that there is a conflict. And until that conflict has been established, there is no duty for the case to be referred to another jurisdiction or another special prosecutor to handle. And it
quote the ethics. The Utah County Attorney's Office is now serving two masters. I don't like that word, but that's the word in the doctrine.
Hey, Highway, great to see you.
And they're representing the state of Utah. And that's why accommodating to just letting it go, as counsel suggests. What we said, 2 weeks. That's fine, a couple weeks.
All right, a couple of weeks, and then we can address that.
does the Attorney General's office have authority to prosecute cases that occur within a prosecution district or county attorney's jurisdiction? And the answer is yes.
So that would be our proposal, is that if the court is open to receiving authorities, that we recess this hearing for, whatever meets the court's schedule, whether it's a week or 2 weeks or a few days. And I think there's enough there for you to say, yes, the county attorney's office can handle this motion on its. My position is no. I think witnesses should be called one time in this case, and that should be to determine whether or not there's a conflict, not to determine whether or not the issue of whether or not there's a conflict should be conflicted.
Oh, wait a minute. This is not the thing I was looking for. This is not this. This is about the anyway. Oh man, damn it! I hate when they do that. Why do they do that all the time? Damn it! So cameras will be allowed in the courtroom. That was about a hearing about somebody showing his face or something. Cameras were allowed in the trial of Tyler Robinson, Utah man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. The judge ruled. Lawyers lost their argument that the public continues to see. Oh, we saw that. Illinois. Robinson is accused of assassinating the 31-year-old conservative podcaster. He's a little bit more than a podcaster. And calling him a fucking podcaster, that's a joke. I'm a fucking podcaster. Why can't you use ad blocker? Because these websites, if you use ad blocker, you can't. They have a way to block the ad blocker that you can't see the page. You have to shut your ad blocker off to read the story. They let him shave where his girlfriend in that subpoena should be interesting with camera and video. Kind of the same thing nowadays. Yeah. How many attorneys does he have? Looks like at least 2. I think he's got three attorneys. So he killed Charlie Kirk, the civil rights leader, in front of a crowd of thousands at Utah Valley University. He was speaking. Kirk's widow, Erica, who's a victim representative of the case, has pushed for maximum press access, as lawyers representing the media have also. Press attorneys claim the more public access the public has, the easier it is to debunk conspiracy theories that have plagued the case. Graff ruled against Robinson's request, claiming that examples of coverage vilifying him doesn't mean some outlets aren't using live media coverage to educate the public about the progress of the legal proceedings or the justice system as a whole. The state is paying for the 3 attorneys. Those are all public defenders. It is the motives of these specific news reporters and requesting reporters that the court must question. He ruled that outlets who want to bring cameras into the courtroom must submit a request at least 14 days in advance and give the defense time to raise a specific challenge. This lady lawyer is like size 30. Wow. There's Charlie. Rest in peace, Charlie. Oh, my God. That was a brutal day seeing that happen. Graff also granted Robinson's request to push back the date of his preliminary hearing, overriding prosecutors' argument that the team had sufficient evidence for the early stage hearing as he pushed to keep the May 18th date. The hearing has been postponed to July 6th. They're just trying to delay things, Robbie, no hopes. Maybe Tyler Robinson thinks if a Democrat gets elected governor of Utah or something, that he'll get pardoned. I don't know. Who's paying the attorneys? The state is paying for the attorneys. The state of Utah. They're public defenders. I think the book will be out soon. Absolutely Orwell approved. Yeah. Prosecutors can opt for a preliminary hearing in lieu of seeking a grand jury indictment. Robinson's team argued in court last month that they didn't receive critical DNA evidence. They were behind waiting through the 200 terabytes of data from the prosecution, all of which would prevent them from preparing for an upcoming hearing. Well, they need to hire more people. We wouldn't punish the state and the victims and everyone else by delaying the proceedings. Robinson was charged with aggravated murder, among other things, in the shooting death of 31-year-old Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk. Robinson is being held behind bars and would face the death penalty if convicted of the top count aggravated murder. Well, of course, I wouldn't think he's being held in front of bars. I mean, I wouldn't mind. Would you guys mind if he's being held in front of a wall? That was a joke. There's just a legal insurrection breakdown of it, which I like. Judge rules cameras will be allowed in the courtroom. So he pushed the preliminary hearing into July and rejected a bid to ban cameras, which is good. We need cameras. This is going to be a good trial, like a streaming trial to watch. This is going to be a really good one. Hopefully maybe I can get on with somebody a little bit to talk, just to give my peace of mind about it, whatever. The selective release of evidence is the problem. Not one conclusive video pic. This is dangerous to be so confident. Well, I don't know. They released videos of him. They released stuff. They have videos of him climbing on the roof with the gun and all this stuff. They have videos of him. How about holding him in a cement cube? Well, that would work. Neat, Scholar. Graf moved the hearing to July 6th through July 10th, denied their motion to ban the cameras and electronic media. Delay comes as both sides continue to receive and process a large and growing volume of evidence. Prosecutors told the court discovery is ongoing, including materials from federal agencies, while the defense said it recently received another batch of roughly 1,600 files. So the continuance was necessary to ensure Robinson's attorney have adequate time to review the evidence, calling it important to protect defendants' constitutional rights to effective counsel. At the same time, the judge acknowledged competing interests of the victim's family and the public in seeing the case move forward without unnecessary delay. Liberals with blue-green hair will be protesting outside the courthouse to set him free. I think so. I think they will. I bet the SPLC puts a good word in for him. Will 60 Minutes pick up the inside scoop? Or is DJT and climate change again? Fucking SPLC, man. Can you believe the shit they did? They were paying the head. SPLC was paying the head of the KKK, was paying the head of the American Nazi Party. Like, what? And giving, like, they paid the guy who organized Charlottesville $270,000. That's insane. And they were instructing him stuff to post and, telling him what to do. Basically, they were using people to promote hate so that they could raise more money to fight hate, that they were using the money to promote hate. It's insane. Oh, they'll give him money on his books? Probably. That's crazy. The judge also made clear the scope of the preliminary hearing is limited, focused on whether prosecutors can establish probable cause, not determining guilt or innocence, but said the defense still needs sufficient time to prepare. On cameras, the defense argued the extensive pretrial publicity could prejudice jurors, citing survey data showing 99% of respondents in Utah were aware of the case. The fucking whole world is aware of the case. Doesn't he realize you fucking did it while it was live streaming to millions of people? What did you think was going to fucking happen? Everybody knows about it. He was a very famous person. It wasn't just some Joe Schmo down the street. Holy shit, these people are idiots. Oh, a bunch of people know about it. Well, yeah, you killed a famous fucking dude. How is it someone who murders someone gets more public defense attorneys than someone with less serious criminal times? Well, because he faces a death penalty. It's kind of a serious thing. Google says Tyler has 4 attorneys because the capital offense claim in Utah gives him extra counsel. That's what I was going to say. Gundam says it took less than 12 hours for manipulated videos to come from the BS clickbait conspiracy theorists making idiots believe his security killed him. The bullet came from the mic or he was a hologram. Yeah. Should ask the Robinson if the SPLC sent him his coupon booklet. You can't go around this, no idiots. Yeah, that's right. It's turned into theater right now. It is. It's total theater. It's total theater. Total theater. So defense experts testified ongoing media coverage, particularly commentary surrounding live stream proceedings, could reinforce bias. He concluded, ultimately found those concerns did not justify a blanket ban on cameras. Yeah. Maybe this. Same thing from the Gateway Pundit. This just in: Charlie Kirk's murder case judge rules that the cameras will be allowed during the entire thing. So that's good. So there will be able to be some great new stuff about it. Great new stuff about it. All right. Check this out. For all you older people, like a cocaine commercial from the 80s. Yeah, check this out. Alzheimer risk slashed by eating more one common food. So study suggests, you know what the food is? Those who ate eggs 1 to 3 times per month or once a week had 17% lower risk. So what if you eat eggs every day? You won't get Alzheimer's. It says right here, Alzheimer risk slashed by eating more eggs. Eat eggs, folks. Eggs are good for you. The whole egg, not just the white. Eat the yolk too. The yolk is pure cholesterol. That's what your brain is made of, cholesterol. Eat it. I eat 3 eggs every single day. There you go. It's great. That's good for you. Yes, it is. A new study revealed the link between egg consumption and reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease. Eat your brain. Yeah, no, don't be a zombie. Zombies eat brains, Gundam. Don't eat brains. Zombies eat brains. Research from California's Loma Linda University, published in the Journal of Nutrition, aimed to analyze the relationship between neurological conditions and dietary habits. The study noted that eggs are known to be a source of key nutrients that support brain health. Brain health. Eat eggs for brain health. The researchers analyzed data from nearly 40,000 U.S. adults over 65 years old from a large study linked to Medicare records and Alzheimer's diagnosis, and then take statins. Sounds like an infomercial scam. Well, I'm just reading the news. Our brains are cholesterol. Mine is bacon. There you go. Driving that train, high on cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, oh, trouble behind. Just you got that notion just crossed my mind. Bow, 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 now. After 15 years, 2,858 people had developed Alzheimer's. The participants' diets and lifestyles were assessed. Egg consumption was characterized on how often people ate them on a scale from never to more than 5 times per week. Unsubbed? What do you mean? You don't like the dead? Egg intake was divided into 2 types. Visible eggs, like boiled, scrambled, or fried eggs, eaten on their own, or hidden eggs, which are used as ingredients in foods like baked goods and products. Can you do Ripple? Shitbird. A phone call has me 15 minutes behind trying to catch up. No problem, KPT. You're good. I eat expertly trained mature eggs in fried battered form. I get it. Chicken. You went to a dead concert, I think. People who ate eggs 1 to 3 times per month or once a week had a 17% lower risk. Those who ate eggs 5 or more times a week had if you eat eggs 5 or more times a week, you're 27% lower risk of Alzheimer's. Start eating eggs every day, people. That's what I would do. I'm going to start eating eggs every day. Eat eggs 5 or more times a week. That means, all but 2 days. So if you eat eggs every day, eat eggs every day, eat eggs every day. What if you eat 5 eggs every day? What if you eat 5 eggs every day instead of eggs 5 times? You eat eggs every multiple meals. Just that's all you eat is eggs. Those who consume no eggs at all had a higher risk of Alzheimer's. And those who ate about 10 grams of egg per day based on separate model in the study. Not chocolate eggs. Oh man, what about Cadbury cream eggs? What if it was you eat eggs 4 to 7 times a week? Good for me. That's right. You eat a carton a day. Well, that's awesome. Brain on drugs. Any questions? And in health conscious population, moderate egg consumption was associated with a significant lower risk of Alzheimer's. These findings suggested a potential neuroprotective benefits of nutrients found in eggs when consumed as part of a balanced diet. Ooh, look at that. Oh, some kind of egg and avocado sandwich, something. That $1 added to a sandwich was gaining traction 10 years ago. Some places still do it. Dr. Joel Salinas, a Harvard-trained behavioral neurologist and chief medical officer at the Isaac Health, called this reasonably well-designed study with the long top follow-up was consistent with previous research. Eggs are concentrated sources of choline, DHA, and B12, which are nutrients the aging brain depends on. Salinas, who practiced at NYU Langone, told Fox News. Observational data is unique, highly conscious population, so causation can't be established here. It's directional more than definitive. While eggs aren't quite a prescription yet, they're one piece of a much larger health picture that includes exercise and a brain-healthy diet and more. Avocado toast with an egg? Yeah. This research was promoted by Big Egg. People who eat eggs regularly may have different lifestyle habits and dietary patterns that could influence the findings. Oh, well, so if you eat eggs, they'll make you act different. Egg yolks are one of the richest dietary sources of choline. Yeah, remember for years they were telling you not to eat the egg, not to eat the yolk, which the body uses to make acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter involved in memory and cognitive functions. So for maybe that reason people were developing Alzheimer's is because they were told not to eat the egg yolks, just to eat the whites. And so not eating the yolks cause a problem. Eggs provide nutrients linked to healthy aging, including lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin B12, quality proteins, and small amounts of omega-3 fats. Yes, Diddy was right. Change your oil before dropping eggs. You like chickens that touch grass. Okay. Turmeric powder is one of the best powdered herbs similar to eggs for supporting brain health, potentially helping with Alzheimer's. Okay. Wright added that eggs absolutely fit in a healthy diet and support brain health. Cool. Eggs served with vegetables, whole grains, fruit, beans, nuts, and fish are very different nutritionally from eggs consistently paired with processed meats, refined carbohydrates, and high sodium foods. Oh, wait, so I can't have a bacon egg sandwich? Oh, man. The big picture is maintaining overall dietary pattern supports cardiovascular and metabolic health. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. That's good to know. That's good to know. All righty then. Well, everybody, unfortunately, I think that's going to be it for the evening. We fell short. We went 3.5 hours, but we fell short of the second hour. So we're still 60 away from the second hour. So I think that's going to be it. I'm going to send everybody over to Joe. Joe just started streaming a little while ago, like less than a half hour ago. So you guys can continue. He's got some good news stories. I should know. I sent them to him. With that, I will bid everybody adieu. I don't think there's going to be a show Sunday, but there might be. We'll see. I'll figure it out in the afternoon. But other than that, I want to thank everybody who's here. Please remember, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you would be so kind as to just hit the like button, that would be really great. I really appreciate everybody who's here, and every viewer matters. Every subscriber matters. Everyone matters. You all matter to me. Thank you. And come on back tomorrow so Jim could tell you the news.